This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. It's a Tua Tagovailoa morning. Yes, sir. How we all doing out there? We doing all right? We feeling good? I know I'm feeling good. I got to do absolutely nothing yesterday. Nothing. Like, I just sat there and just vegetated and watched a little football, well, a lot of football, actually, all day long. Didn't even do a lot of crypto, especially with the FTX hacker doing his thing right now. Although I want to thank the FTX hacker because I got Algorand a little cheaper. But anyway, you always got to find the bright side. There's a bright side everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's the beauty. Got to find that bright side there, which is a beautiful thing. Strange Slaw says, I'm feeling a solo first place type. That's right, baby. On top of the division, on top of the world is the Miami Dolphins fan. Yeah, love it. It's a beautiful thing, and thank you all already for tuning in and keeping it locked here to the program. Thank you for giving us the edge every single day. And you can get it, too, at myedgedrink.com. So appreciate all of you out there. Interesting weekend. You remember, do you remember, what's it called? Brian Walters, check Venmo. What's going on with Venmo, my brother? What did you do? What did you do? Brian, well, thank you. A lot of love on Venmo. Thank you, sir. Very nice of you. Very nice. Thank you. That is very nice of you. Steve M. also chimed in. He said, what Herbert choke it? What did Tua do last year against Daniel? We needed to get a W against the playoffs. Oh, no, that's right. That was the supporting cast faults. When the other QBs don't have as good an offense, your excuse machine doesn't turn off the same way. I love Steve M is the ultimate Tua hater. And then, you know what? Then last night, he's reaching out to me about Herbert, which, of course, he choked at the end, throwing the interception. And, you know, I'm locked and loaded for the excuse Herbert people like yourself, Steve M. First of all, thank you for the Venmo. We love you, Steve M., even though you hate Tua. But I think Herbert has a guy named Austin Eckler. He's had him for 3 years. He's pretty good. I think the stat was he was number one in the NFL in touchdowns scored for the last 3 years. Okay. I think Keenan Allen's pretty good. He had like 90-something yards. The Joshua Palmer kid had like 100 yards. I'm sorry, where does he lack talent? Miami's receivers weren't even healthy last year, Steve. Only one guy, Waddle. That's it. They had no running backs. This whole thing about Herbert, it's like he still has better weapons now than Tua ever did for 2 years. What's the excuse, baby? What's the excuse? I can say Austin Eckler's better than the running backs currently on Miami's roster right now because that guy's been solid for a couple of years now in a row. I'm not exactly sure what you're watching. Justin Herbert excuse makers. I love the Justin Herbert excuse makers, right? They can't handle that he's Jeff George. They don't see that he's Tony Romo, that he's Carson Wentz. They don't see that he's Jared Goff. They don't see that he's Phillip Rivers. But that's all right. Don't worry about it. You guys can join my boy Joe Rose, probably, who still is in denial, I would imagine, about Justin Herbert. That's fine, dude. But please don't make excuses that he's got all these injuries. The Joshua Palmer kid is a player. Keenan Allen's a Pro Bowler. And Austin Eckler's a terrific running back, so that he does have weapons. I'm sorry. He can't get it done. If Tua can't get it done for 2 years, but he still wins more than he loses, whereas this guy's had more talent than Tua for 3 complete years, and yet he loses more than he wins. But hey, that's all right, Justin Herbert lovers. I get it. You don't want to admit you're wrong. It's all right. I get it. And you listened to the broadcasters last night. You listen to Tariq, especially Chris Collinsworth. Boy, he gushes all over Herbert. And they're all dying to have Herbert like really lift himself up, but it never happens. And there goes that fourth quarter interception. You know. The only good thing was for your guy Justin Herbert was that it wasn't a pick six. I mean, that's normally what he does in the fourth quarter. It's a pick six is what he likes to throw. Just saying. But that's all right. Justin Herbert excuse makers. You guys can, continue to plow along and just make all the excuses from, oh, no, he doesn't have weapons. No, of course not. No, he doesn't have weapons. Come on. It's all right. But it's all right to bash Tua. But, Justin Herbert, please don't pick on the golden child. He might choke on his sucker. Thankfully, Herbert is tall, so it's easier for Collinsworth to kiss his butt. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Collinsworth is like all over it, dude. All over it. Fun fact, the name Herbert is French, and it translates to the dog ate my homework. Oh, I love it. Thankful for a blessed Thanksgiving week. I am blessed that Tua is healthy to continue his success and lead us to the promised land. Hell yeah, Rosendo. Party at my house in Phoenix. Okay? Party at my house in Phoenix. All right? Some of you, maybe, I don't know, if you're out in Phoenix and the Dolphins are there, maybe I reach out to you on DM or something. If you follow us on Twitter or you follow us on YouTube, you just never know. Maybe I follow you and say, hey, look, here's our address here in Arizona. Come on over. We're going to have a party. You never know. You never know. I could do something. I could do something like that. It's possible. It's possible. We shall see when we get to Super Bowl week. All right. Josh Greenwell says, Dolphins win the bye week. What do you think of the Lions-Bills game? I have a feeling also, why do they go back to Buffalo? Why would they go back? They went back to Buffalo? For real? No. I didn't read that, Josh. I don't know. I would imagine that they are staying in Buffalo for the next couple of days. I don't think it would make any sense. I'm not sure. But Brian, again, thank you for the love on Venmo, and I appreciate it. He says, check Venmo. My woman had a great investor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you and appreciate your amazing commitment, Brian, to the platform. Jose Lucas, thank you for the love on the super chat. Tua, 2 minutes left, beat Ravens. Herbert, 2 minutes left, INT. I mean, give me a break. There's no comparison between the two quarterbacks right now. Nothing. The only thing Herbert has on Tua is physical ability, and he will have that till the day he dies, because very few people have the physical tools that Justin Herbert has. I will never argue that, but that doesn't mean anything. That's the problem. I always love the people. Well, he's got a great arm. So what? Who gives a shit if he can throw 75 miles an hour? Who cares if he can throw out of the stadium? Is he accurate? Does he have balls? Can he read defenses? Can he react quickly when there's chaos? Will he rise above chaos? That's what I need to know. I don't need to know how strong his arm is. That doesn't mean anything, dude. That is, when you hear somebody just talk about the strength of their arm, they're just a fan. They don't really understand the quarterback position. Understand that. Let me explain that to you. If somebody is just talking about their physical ability, that does not mean they're going to be accurate. That does not mean ball placement's going to be there. That does not mean they've got balls when it's all said and done. Because Justin Herbert's got a great arm, and Jeff George's arm was just as good or better, actually. But he didn't have any balls. He was going to fold like a cheap tent. Carson Wentz is actually more gifted than Justin Herbert prior to all the injuries. But we found out something about Carson Wentz, right? When it got tough, he wasn't tough enough. Tony Romo will wow you with athleticism, wow you with these amazing throws, wow you as a fantasy football player. Do you want him in a real game when it's actually all on the line? None of you would pick Tony Romo. Not one goddamn person would pick Tony Romo. Not one goddamn person would pick Jeff George. Not one goddamn person would pick Jared Goff or Carson Wentz or Phillip Rivers. So until Justin Herbert proves to me that he's not Jake Plummer, then you tell me, bro. But I've seen all these guys I mentioned. To me, that's Justin Herbert. Until I see something different from the guy, and instead of hearing idiots talk about how gifted he is and all, dude, I've seen the gifted. I saw Vince Young, super gifted, can run like a deer, has an arm that's a gift of God. Does it make him a great quarterback in the NFL? No. Did he put on one of the three greatest performances that a college football player could ever put on? Hells to the yeah. Vince Young has one of the three best performances I have ever seen by a college football player. That's college. It's not the NFL. In the NFL, it's another level mentally, and it's not about physical. Lots of guys get there because they have enough physical talent. So the question is, do they have the mental fortitude? Do they have the toughness? Do they have the will to survive, to overcome adversity? That's one of the things that I love about Mario Cristobal taking over this program. It's because I know it looks like shit right now. I know they're playing like crap, but he's the one guy that can absorb all the heat and then fuel it to then turn it around and use it as momentum to really change things. And I think he will. But you've got to take the bullet now. And he's taken several bullets, unfortunately. But this is part of it. But he's tough enough to not fold and not give in to any kind of pressures and stay the course. Because you must be mentally tough enough in order to survive the onslaught that you're getting now from the fan base, I'm sure from alumni, all of that stuff, that they don't like this, that, whatever. But you've got to fight through all that negativity, the parents, the kids, the media, all of it. And eventually you'll come through. And that's what Tua did. Tua had the mental fortitude. Okay. Justin Herbert goes through Brian Flores for 2 years and he is ruined and never comes out of it. Okay? Let me just explain that to you. If Justin Herbert is treated the way Tua was for 2 years, he's done. He's cooked. Nobody has had to endure what Tua has endured his first 2 years in the league. Not Joe Burrow, not Zach Martin, not Justin Herbert, not you know what? Kyler Murray, although Kyler's kind of brought on stupid shit on his own because of the things he says or does, obviously. But none of these guys have gone through the hell that kid went through for 2 years and coming into the league with an injured hip. Tua doesn't need to show me a goddamn thing about mental toughness, mental fortitude, just physical toughness, staying the course. Do not let things get you off course. Do not give in to the media. Do not give in to fans. Do not give in to maybe coaches that aren't necessarily good for you. All of those things, that guy fought through all of that. Shit that Jeff George could never survive. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, and Justin Herbert. So until proven otherwise, until you stop throwing fourth quarter pick sixes, until you actually start coming back on some of these games, and until you had yesterday, Justin Herbert had, 3 timeouts? They had 40 seconds? You have more than enough time to get to a field goal range with your big, beautiful arm and all your athleticism, right? I mean, that's what the clueless say, right? Oh, he's got such a great arm. And what does that mean? Does that mean you're a great quarterback? So there you go. Just give you guys a little bit of excuse city for Justin Herbert. Kevin Beal, thank you for the love on the Venmo. Thank you. Remember, donations through Cash App and Venmo, we get 100% of it. On the Super Chat, we only get 70%. YouTube gets 30. Kevin Beal says, you remember when Omar Kelly said Tua was weird? LOL, glad that narrative has changed. LOL, also, if Gesicki leaves us next year, does Hunter Long become the second tight end? High hopes for him, the third-round pick. I don't think so. Hunter Long becomes that guy. I have not seen it from Hunter Long yet so far. And I got to tell you something. Tanner Connor's the guy that you better look out for. That's the guy that they like. That's the guy they hung on to. That's the guy they gave a 53-man roster spot when he is so green and not ready for this. Okay? Tanner Connor is the same as Robert Jones, Trill Williams, Nick Needham. Although Nick Needham, they didn't hang on to him an extra year. They brought him in 19 and they got him playing right away. But then again, that team was so stripped down, they had to play him. But some of these guys that they've hung on to, like Trill Williams from the year before and Robert Jones from the year before, and Tanner Connor's that guy. This is one of those guys that they like. Under the radar, Veron McKinley, now, so we've got to watch out. And he runs like a deer. He's a track guy playing tight end. And go check out our interview with him on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and check out the interview and listen to him. Okay. He feels like he has that George Kittle attitude of, I don't want to go down and I want to run through people and stuff like that. And he's not necessarily the biggest guy, but I'm sure they're going to beef him up a little bit. They've got him watching Kittle tape and all that. Watch the interview. I did the interview in the locker rooms. So I would say Hunter Long's not this coaching staff's guy. Tanner Connor, they targeted him like a guy that they like for this system. Hunter Long was more for the other system where you're a blocker and a receiver and all that kind of stuff. So maybe he becomes more of a blocker receiver next year. That's maybe what happens with him, but I don't know if he becomes the number one guy. I think Tanner Connor is the guy that they want to give an opportunity to. Kevin, thank you so much for the Venmo, man. Very nice of you to make a donation to the program. Cash Big O Show on Venmo or Cash App. Let's see. By Herbert's third game, his rookie year, the Chargers knew they were going to fire the head coach. Easy for Herbert, stat stuff, with no pressure, always being behind. Well, whatever, man. All the excuses are made for everybody except Tua. And so now that now that things are looking completely different, now everybody's making excuses for everybody else, but they never made look like when this guy pointed out the Tennessee game with Tua. That game was terrible coaching. Duke Johnson runs well in the first half. He has like 60 yards in the first half. They choose not to run in the second half in the rain. What are they doing on the other side of the ball? They're running the ball. Why? Because of course that's what you do in that case. But whatever, man. It was such bad coaching that it was so horrible. And yet he still won more than he lost with that loser as a coach in Brian Flores. It really is amazing. I got to tell you, it's really, really amazing. What's his name again? Are you talking about the tight end? Tanner Connor is the kid. The Jets averaged 2.77 inches per play in the second half. Somebody sent me that on DM. Was that really true? They averaged 2.77 inches per play in the second half? Listen, I've told you from the get-go, I'm not a Zach Wilson. Another guy. Oh, but did you see his workout? How he threw, running one way and throwing. And what does that mean? I heard that in his workout in the offseason a couple of years ago and go, he's throwing against wind. There's no defenses. Of course you're going to look fantastic. Athletic ability. So what? Are you a quarterback? The art of the quarterback is like, I don't understand with some of these people. Oh, but his arm. Oh, but he looks so athletic. So was Achilles Smith, man. Achilles Smith was athletic too. That going to help you? Jamarcus Russell could throw the ball. Oh, it's the greatest workout of all. You remember that one? Oh, no. I've never seen a workout like Jamarcus Russell's. I'm glad, dude. I'm so happy for you. You saw a great workout. What does that mean? I'm sorry. I must have missed it. What does that mean? That's not an evaluator of talent. Okay? That's not an evaluator of talent. Whatever you saw in that work, what did you see on tape? That's what I want to know. Okay? Does he have the work ethic? Obviously, he did not. Rick says, I literally called the Herbert interception at the end of the game. I said, here comes the INT, and there it was. Herbert ain't no Tua. Great athlete, but no Tua. Exactly. But no, he's got such an arm, Zach Wilson. Dude, the only thing I've been impressed with Zach Wilson is that he bangs hot MILFs. And that's it. And, as a young man that went through that experience himself, yeah, I kind of admire that because it's a fun thing. Just saying, for those of us that were, in our young days and we got MILFed, it's a fun thing to get MILFed. But That's the only place where I admire him. Outside of that, I've told people over and over and over again, I don't see it from Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I see it from Joe Burrow, but I don't see it from Zach Wilson. No. I'm getting you a throwback present for Christmas, says UMFan954. Obsession Cologne. You're obsessed with Herbert. You don't have to keep convincing yourself Tua is amazing. Just enjoy the show. Hey, UM fan, my brother, I don't think you know the rules of the show. Okay? I'm the host. You're not. Remember that. So, as long as I got to hear the crap for 2 years, well, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it, okay? And you're going to have to deal with it, whether you like it or not. You know, that's the way it goes. I had to deal with the idiots for 2 years, so I'm going to have to I will be unloading for a while. You don't get away with it for just a couple of months. No. It doesn't go that way. It doesn't go that way. No. They asked Zach Wilson if he felt like he let his team down. His answer was no. I read a story that some of the players were pissed off about his attitude. Kyler Murray had some of that too, that they would lose, and he didn't have like he didn't take it like to heart like some of the guys. That happens with young players at times, that they don't realize it and they're kind of disconnected in it, and maybe they just don't feel it the same way as other people do. You know, you could not be around Alonzo Mourning after he lost, and I don't give a shit what it was. Don't care. Like, you knew the second you walk. We're going to talk to Ira in a couple minutes, but that's why I mentioned I see Ira there. It's like, that's one guy I remember that dude didn't want to lose at anything. And you knew, like, oh, God, I got to go talk to Zoe. Oh, man, he's not going to be happy. You know, it's just one of those things. Zoe wasn't happy if they were on a 2-game losing streak and you had to go talk to him in the pregame. He was already an ogre at that moment. You know what I mean? That kind. So there are people, Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor. You walk in the locker room, they were going to wear their emotions on their sleeves, and you knew that they were hurting. You know what I'm saying? And some players are like that, and then some others aren't. And if you're not, that's not going to rub well in the locker room. That's going to, and especially the quarterback. Out of all people, the quarterback has got to hold himself to a higher standard than everybody else. But Zach Wilson, you've made him, they've made him a star there without being a star. You're doing the Jeremy Lin shit. You've accomplished nothing, and then you put him on some pedestal because he was banging a MILF. And it's a fun story, but that doesn't mean he's accomplished anything on the field. And he really has not accomplished anything on the field. He's been very pedestrian so far in his career. But, hell, at the beginning of the year, we had people saying that Tua was the worst quarterback in the division. Anybody remember that one? Oh, no, Tua's the 4th best quarterback in the I think like Mike Tannenbaum said something stupid like that. People had Zach Wilson and Mac Jones, of course, the next Tommy boy. We don't hear that anymore about Mac Jones and how he looks like Tom Brady and he plays like Tom Brady and he thinks like Tom Brady and he prepares like Tom Brady, yet he's out there like the Statue of Liberty. Not exactly sure, but that's what I thoroughly remember. I mean, it went over and over and over that Tua was the 4th best quarterback in the division. So when you tell me, calm down on Herbert. We know Tua's, playing great. No, I'm not going to do that. No, because I'm going to have fun at the Zach Wilson idiots. I'm going to have fun with the Justin Herbert idiots. I'm going to have fun with the Mac Jones idiots. Yeah, I'm going to have fun because you were stupid enough to just go out there and be the absolute that those guys are much better, and they're not. So I will continue to hammer away and have some fun with all of that. Yeah, because Tua definitely is the fourth best quarterback in the division. Statistically, by far, by miles, he's the best quarterback in the division. He may not be the best overall because Josh Allen has the better track record. But right now, statistically, he's the best quarterback in the division by miles, and it's not even close. So there we go. If anybody watched the Jets-Patriots, there is no way to think that Tua is the worst in the division thus far this year. He is the best QB in the division. Yeah, it's not even close. Every analyst that doubted Tua sits on the podium and looks as if they've eaten a stale peanut butter sandwich when it's time to open their mouths now. Yep. Did you see Bill Cowher? Like you want to add stupidity on top of stupidity? Okay. Bill Cowher yesterday was asked to put his playoff teams in order. And I want you guys to help me out here. I'm 56 years old. Okay. I think I'm pretty good at changing with the times, but at one point or another, I'm going to get too old, right? It happens to all of us. We saw Mike Westhoff, who's in his 70s. He was a total curmudgeon in the offseason when he was on with Joe Rose, and he sounded like a complete buffoon talking about how Mike McDaniel was running and he thought it was the end of the world coming, and look what it is now. Bill Cowher last week was crying and sobbing about Jeff Saturday getting hired. Too bad, so sad. And yesterday, here's how he puts in order his teams for the playoffs. Sean, please play the sound. We'll get it sometime. Do we have it yet? We're trying. Well, Cowher was putting in order from 1 to 6 his playoff teams. And the selections that he had, especially one of them, was, just completely lost. Do we have it, Sean? I don't think so. All right, let's do this. I'll play for you after.
It's not letting me play just the audio. It's not letting me play just the audio. For some reason, it's not letting me play just the audio. It's playing. It played over you. Apparently, you didn't hear it. I don't know why.
Did you guys hear it? Because I didn't hear anything. I didn't hear anything. All right. Well, let's make it audio later on, and let's go to Ira Winderman now, and let's talk a little bit about the Miami Heat because it's a lot to talk about there. Let's get to our accurate Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, Ira. How you doing, first of all? You hanging in there?
I'm good here, but I'm on airport Wi-Fi, so hopefully this works. If not, I'll be glad to switch over to the phone. You let me know.
No, dude, it sounds great. You got this festive look back there with the trees and everything. It's a beautiful thing there. That's nice, man. Thank you very much.
I got to the airport early just to set up the backdrop for you to make it work. So this is our holiday special from the beautiful Cleveland Hopkins Airport.
I love it. I love it. Great job by you. Not a great job last night by the Heat. Obviously short of Butler and Tyler and stuff. So things didn't go well. 113-87. Cavs are actually a pretty damn good team overall. Miami not look on a night where I get it. He's not Mr. Offense, but he said he wanted to take 18 plus shots a game. Even Bam on a night where he could have taken 28 shots in a game, still only took 14. But another ugly performance by the boys last night.
Yeah, Big O, but I was actually just looking through the box scores, and I did notice this. The Heat have not played a game with Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, and Bam Adebayo in the lineup together since the November 1 home victory over the Warriors. So if you're going to tell me the Heat aren't a good team without Bam, I'll agree, like the losses we saw in Toronto and Washington. If you're going to say they're not a good team without Jimmy Butler, I mean, heck, we saw the playoff runs 2 of the last 3 years. He was everything. And Tyler Hero obviously is the offense they need. So if you're going to tell me the Miami Heat are a bad team when 2 of those 3 have missed games consistently, I'm going to fully agree with that. This is a league without a great margin of error, let alone a team without a great margin of error. If they don't get healthy soon, they're just going to keep stumbling because that's the way the league works. You know, look at the Dolphins with Tua and without Tua, 2 different football teams. I think the Heat are similar without Jimmy Butler and the rest of their guys also.
Last night, Kyle Lowry, after a terrific night the night before, last night, 31 minutes, 2 of 10, 1 of 7 from three-point range, 3 assists, 5 turnovers. You know, that's you needed Lowry to be good last night. And it's just he's really shown that he can really not be a lead player on this team at all. He can only facilitate on his best nights.
Again, he's 36 years old. You mentioned this when he signed a 3-year, $85 million contract at 35 years old. To expect someone at 36 to be an all-of-the-time player, there's only one guy in the league who meets that right now, and that's LeBron James. And everyone else, you get it some of the time. I think Kyle Lowry is fine as a number 4 option when you have Bam, when you have Jimmy, when you have Tyler. But when you don't is when more often than not, you wind up getting exposed in that situation. So again, it's really the other 3 guys not having to carry Kyle, but having to make it easier for him. They knew what they were doing when they signed a 35-year-old player. This is what you get. You get a fantastic 51-minute performance in Washington, and then you get something far less. Hey, look, Big O, I'm off to Minnesota right now for a game against the Timberwolves tonight. What do you think Kyle Lowry at 36 is going to have on the second night of a back-to-back?
No, I don't expect him to have much at this point.
If he plays, yeah.
If he plays. So what do we know about all these injuries? What's going to happen? When are we getting these guys back? Because you're falling deeper into the abyss now. You're 7-10. You're 3 games under 500. I don't even expect you to win tonight against Minnesota.
Oh, I don't see how. They're 9-point favorites, and once the Heat injury report comes out, they'll probably be even larger favorites. Minnesota is not listing a single injury on their injury report. They have 3 players in the G League, everyone else available. With Jimmy, it's a matter of he wants to make sure he feels right. And honestly, Big O, I think Jimmy at 33 is at a point in his career where he figures he could take about quarter of the schedule off every year. And that's not acceptable for this team and where they are. If this was a team like the Celtics with Robert Williams being prudent with his knee, I have no issue with that. If this was a team like the Bucks where Brook Lopez was very careful last season, I have no issue. But as you mentioned, there's no margin of error. Jimmy Butler can't be a missed 20 games player even if he wants to. So I am curious how he deals with this knee pain because they need him Wednesday against Washington. They need him Wednesday against Washington, Friday against Washington. Because then look at the trip. They are right back out on the road next Sunday at Atlanta, at Boston, at Memphis. So it's almost like those 2 home games are must-win games just to stay close to 500. So you have that. You have Tyler Hero with the ankle sprain, who the Heat were fully expecting to be on this trip. And then as the plane was leaving for Toronto last week, he goes, no, I'm going to stay behind. I'm going to work on my ankle here. I don't think that's what the team was expecting. There was a thought he was going to meet the team yesterday here in Cleveland. He didn't make the trip. So again, you know, it's what you always talk about and everyone talks about. There are injuries and there is pain. You don't play through an injury because you can make things worse. But if you're a professional, you play through pain. So you have that going on. And to his credit, Bam pushed back as hard as he could, took the trip, traveled with the team, missed 2 games, but came back last night. So I think of all 3, I think Bam has shown the most so far from that degree.
How many games has Tyler missed in his career already? Because I'm starting to look to me like he's an injury-prone player now, because it's like every year. It seems like every year he's missing games, right?
Yeah, the answer would be a lot. And again, when you look at that kind of build he has, and he had spent time in the gym trying to put muscle on, but it's almost the same thing as Nikola Jovic right now. When you are more spindly and like that, you tend to be more prone for those kind of things. We know the Heat have a very good conditioning department, have a very good weight training staff. But with Tyler, it's been sort of all these little knick-knack injuries that add up over the year. Yeah, we've seen that the last 3 seasons. The Heat need Tyler Hero at that pay grade going forward to be an everyday player. The fact is that the Heat have so many guys who aren't everyday players. That tells you right now why this season's a crap show.
I'm starting to think that, damn, dude, I feel bad for him. It seems like they've made a lot of bad decisions lately. I don't know if this Tyler contract's any good. I don't think the Duncan contract's not looking good the way you're playing him and what you're paying him. The Lowry contract's absolutely terrible. The Butler contract, the back end of it is going to be absolutely horrible because he's
but Big O, I'm going to interrupt you there because the Butler deal on the back.
You're paying Bam to be a franchise player, and he's a super role player.
I'll go through those right now. First of all, you're paying Bam what the market dictated. And if you didn't, someone else would have. And for a team that doesn't have a lot of draft choices and deals draft choices, you have to pay the market. You can get stuck a little. Yes. So what you do is you're paying a star player superstar money. You're behind the curve. The Jimmy thing is that's what you had to do. Let's be honest, Big O. 2020 NBA Finals, Jimmy was everything anyone in the league was at that time.
Been awesome.
And last season in the playoffs, I know he missed the 3, but he was as good as anyone through 3 rounds also. So you have to pay the back end to get that right now. I have no issue. The thing about Tyler is the money doesn't kick until next season. Maybe it clicks. Maybe he gets it then. So I'm going to wait on that. Kyle was always to keep Jimmy happy. You know, they could. I wrote that on my Ask Ira today at the Sun Sentinel. When people go, the Heat are letting Jimmy down. They're not surrounding him with talent. He is the one who asked for Kyle Lowry. He made his bed. And when you make your bed like that, you have to live with it. Because believe me, if Jimmy Butler wasn't pushing that hard for Kyle Lowry, I am sure that Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley and Adam Simon and Nick Harrison probably would have had better ways to spend their money and also not had to give up on Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa. So really, this is what Jimmy wished for. Now it's up to him to make it work.
Yeah, but it's easy for him and Kyle to live with it because they got big fat ass salaries. Jimmy's got his Michelob and his airplane, but it's the fans that have got to watch their old asses break down under those contracts. And Jimmy's going to know the position that he's in, like, wow, I screwed up by bringing this guy in because now I can't complain because I brought him in and then he can't get it done because he's too old. So now I'm in a rock and a hard place. Well, I guess I'm going to Lupe Fiasco. I'm going to kick, push, and coast.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy has that in him. I think the one thing about Jimmy, and maybe that's why he hasn't played the last couple of games, I think if Jimmy plays, he goes all in and all out. Maybe the injuries might limit him, but he's always going to push himself. I mean, what he did on that block against Devin Booker at the end of the game against Phoenix, that was just 1 week ago. What he did against Charlotte with that 35-point game that he put together. He plays hard. He might not play all the time, but when he plays hard. But you're right. Those contracts right now on the Heat overall scale do not look good. But this is what this franchise has always done, Big O. They sell their soul for the home run. They sold their Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley soul for Victor Oladipo on the hope it would be something. That's another guy who hasn't been here all season. That makes a difference also. So you know what? You always talk about this, Big O. We're impressed because Pat Riley swings for the fences. But you know what happens when you swing for the fences all the time? You wind up like John Carlos Stanton, and you wind up striking out a lot as well.
Yeah, it's and that's what it looks like right now. So let me ask you, is there a deadline of implosion? Is there a deadline where you just say, you know, this is looking like the DeVille Hotel. We need to kind of
tear it down.
We need to kind of tear it down. And if we can move anything that we can possibly move, we do it. Is there anything to move? And you tell me, or is it come hell or high water? This is what we got, boys. Let's get to it.
The sort of inside story on this team has always been this. They wait till the trade deadline. They wait to midseason. They wait to see if there's still a chance. If you remember in 2008, then all of a sudden you brought in Kasip Powell and Stephon Losmy and Blake Ahern, you went in that direction. We've seen them do that before. The year they got the Justice Winslow pick when they played all those guys in Philadelphia the last game of the season, 48 minutes. But it won't be this early. Because I got to tell you, Big O, I don't know how it can happen cap-wise, but if you take this team and it's healthy and you simply add in a Jay Crowder, I think it could turn on a dime. Now, I don't know how you're going to make that happen, but I think as long as Pat Riley and the front office see an escape hatch, they're more likely to pursue that outcome than to kick it all to the can. Now, I will say this. The next time you see all the Heat coaches taking French lessons, that's when I'll say they're sort of putting it aside and moving to the lottery.
All right. Do we know injury-wise anything going into this game tonight? Because I just fear watching. I mean, watching it last night was it was tough to watch, man.
Well,
God,
again, you know that Tyler.
God.
Yeah, you know that Tyler and Jimmy and Omar Yurtseven are back in Miami. You know that Victor Oladipo is traveling and not playing. You know that Gabe Vincent left the locker room wearing a knee brace yesterday. Duncan Robinson left the locker room hobbling because he had the ankle sprain. So all of those guys could be out. So it basically could be the same we saw last night, except it'll be Kyle Lowry on the second night of a back-to-back and Bam with a knee bruise on the second night of a back-to-back. So I think that's what's going to make it more interesting tonight. I'm not sure interesting is the right word.
The Miami MASH unit on the road tonight in Minnesota. All right. Ira, be safe in your travels, my friend. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and subscribe to his exceptional work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, we will catch you on Wednesday, my friend. Thank you.
I'm going to try to grab one of these Christmas trees and get it on the plane. Don't know if I can pull it off, but we'll see. Thanks, Big O.
You got it. There you go. We look forward to Ira being on the news. It's ugly. It's ugly. You know, I love Bam, the player and the person, but as you all know, I don't look at him as a franchise player. In order for you to be a franchise player in the NFL and in the NBA, here's my definition of today's NBA player. Dennis Rodman and Ben Wallace. They could be superstars back in the day. Basketball was different then. In today's basketball, defense doesn't dominate anymore because all the rules are offense. So in order for you to be a superstar in this league, in my definition of a superstar, you must be able to impose your will offensively, something that Bam Adebayo cannot do. Okay? I'm at that point now, by the way. Not if, or he can, or he's got it. No, he can't do it. It's not in him. Jimmy Butler. We've gotten the best you could possibly get out of Jimmy Butler already. I don't know how much more you're going to get out of it. I don't believe you're going to get that much more out of it. In fact, I think it's only going to get worse from here on out. And that body can only do one thing, break down from here on out, because it's got a lot of mileage, a lot of wear and tear. And remember, because some people like to, harp on the minutes, it's also the practice time that he went through with Thibodeau. I put a lot of mileage on that body. Kyle Lowry, I never liked that deal from the get-go, and it's proven 1,000% right that it's a shit contract. Okay? Duncan Robinson, while I understand why you had to pay him, but you had to move him, unfortunately. He's too limited offensively. Not just defensively. He can only shoot. Doesn't do enough anything else in the offensive game. Tyler Hero is a sack of injuries. Constantly injured. So you want him to build up his body so he can play better defense. I want him to build up his body so it doesn't break down. And then you sign Victor Oladipo, a guy that you've been waiting for to recapture the magic of 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago. Not going to happen, man. So unfortunately, as much as I love the Heat, I think they have tied themselves down to a lot of bad contracts. Again, by the way, like they did with the Journeymen. And they tied themselves down to the Johnsons, right? And the Whiteside. And was the other, the two Johnsons, Whiteside, and Deion Jordan. My God. You gave a man a contract that you knew needed surgery. So I got to tell you something. They've gotten a lot of production. They were a shot away from the NBA Finals. All those things. Good things have happened. The last couple of years. I don't know if it's going to continue, to be quite honest. I just don't think these were good decisions. So it sucks. That is your Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. El Clandestino says, I think Bam can do it. We are just not putting him in the right spot. Bubble season, he was dominant. What changed? He was playing more at 4 because he's the best natural power forward. He was not dominant offensively. Still wasn't dominant offensively, even in the bubble. That was the whole team. What you're remembering is some of the dominant defensive plays by him, but not really dominant offensively. And where El Clandestino, I would disagree with you completely. If you have it, you have it, bro. Period. When you're John Morant, you're going to impose your will. Anthony Johnson that you're going to see tonight will impose his will. If you're that player, Banchero, watch him. And he's a baby. He just walked into the league. You think he's not imposing his will? Hell's to the yeah, dude. When you have it, you have it. And Bam doesn't have it. Bam's a fantastic super role player. Love him. You got to have him on your team. Okay, I get that. But I'm not paying him franchise money. Because I can't pay. I have to pay franchise money to the people that can carry my team offensively in the NBA. And Bam has, bro, how many years are you going to wait for him to grow up and become that guy? Was Embiid not that guy right from the get-go? Yeah. Either you have it or you don't. Either you want it or you don't. And Bam doesn't want it. He's incredibly passive. He's just waiting for his opportunity. No, take it. And he doesn't take it. So los cojones aren't there, bro. They're not there. He doesn't have that attitude like I'm taking over. That's not who he is. I'm sorry. And I don't know how long you want to wait for it. Either you have it right from the get-go or you don't have it. In basketball, it doesn't develop 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the line. You either have it or you don't, period. You come in, either you're a dog or you're not a dog. And that's it. There's no other way around this. So you and I are going to completely disagree on that. And by the way, some dude asked me to start breaking down next year with the Dolphins or something. I saw this while I was doing here. Alex Brown, Big O, can you do a breakdown of each position and who you think the Dolphins will keep on the offseason? Our biggest offseason in a long time. Thanks, brother. Alex, what is wrong with you, my man? Really, what's wrong with you? You're in the middle of a 7-3 season. Why the hell would you care about the offseason right now? I don't give a shit about the draft or free agency. I don't care about who's staying or who's going. The guy you might think that you might want to keep might blow out his knee next week. Now you won't want to keep him anymore. What are you talking about, bro? Why would you want to get into an offseason when we're having the best regular season the Dolphins have had in, I don't know, over 25 years? Some of you out there, I really don't understand you as fans. What a paja mental that is. That's mental masturbation. You got to be the dumbest host in the world to entertain that question and even start talking about something like that when you're in the middle of a fantastic season. I want to talk about kicking the Houston Texans' ass this week. I want to talk about roasting those sumbitches over and over again for some of the torture that we had to feel in the expansion years. When we're like, oh, it's an expansion team. Yeah, we'll beat them. And then we watched the Houston Texans like 5 years in a row kick the Dolphins' ass their first 5 years of existence. So you know what I'd like? 5 years of frustrations and a whole can of ass whooping. And I hope that Tua lights him up for 85 points this week. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm not going to worry about some hypothetical in the offseason that I have no idea what's going to happen when I'm just worried about week 12. Some of you out there, bro, seriously, get a life. Alex, get laid. Getting laid is good. Getting laid, you know, it's as Gordon Gekko would say, it cleanses, it soothes, whatever. You know how he did that with in the Wall Street thing. Greed is good. Greed, whatever, this, that. What sex is good. Sex cleanses. Sex clears the mind. Sex releases endorphins. Okay? Alex, go have a lot of sex and stay in the moment. I told my whole family only Dolphins gear for Christmas. Anything else would be unacceptable. Dolphins gears, Mo, with the old logo. Okay? Sounds like meth instead of weed. Miami will beat the Niners and will beat the Chargers 10-3 going to Buffalo. I like it. Let's see. I guess in this case, Dolphins. The healing power of the coach is holy. Big O, I remember when you always played stuck in the middle with you. Glad those days are, yeah, we're no longer stuck in the middle, bro. God. 20-something years of never being good enough to be part of the elite teams and always better than the real shitty teams. We're right in the middle. No more. No more. Cutter's Edge Pro, baby. We love Will. Will was hanging out with us on Saturday at Walk-Ons. Man, Will, Mike, all the great people out there. Call them 954-472-0622 for all of your landscaping needs. I'm telling you, it takes your home to the next level. I was hoping to enjoy my backyard yesterday. You know, I was going to watch the games, maybe do a little barbecue in the back, hang out with the dogs. They go run around all over the place, play on the artificial turf, which is just absolutely amazing, the artificial turf, because they can run in and out of the house, and they bring no dirt, nothing, no grass, no nothing. They just do their business. They walk back in. It's over. I don't cut grass. I don't have to water the grass, so I'm saving myself a lot of money in the long run. You know, call the great people like Cutter's Edge Pro. My backyard is beautiful now. It's got incredible landscaping. And it was actually, you know, now that we get to use it, although yesterday I couldn't use it because it was raining the entire time. But the good thing is, even when it's raining, I could keep the back door open or the shade and look out at the beautiful landscape and everything. And it was just fantastic just to be able. It's like therapy. When I get to look back there and I see all of the trees and everything else and the flowers and everything else. It is a calming effect. You know what I mean? Call the folks at cuttersedgepro.com. Redo your home, or let me tell you, if you got nothing going on, landscaping will add value to your home. You pay for the entire yard, right? Well, you might as well upgrade that thing. And if you have dogs like I do, oh my God, the artificial turf is the best. Super easy to maintain, and it saves you thousands in the long run. So it's going to pay off for itself in the end. CuttersEdgePro.com, irrigation, lighting, they do it all, folks. They've also got their own show Sundays on WIOD at noon. So check it out, folks. Landscaping, lighting, you name it, they do it. outdoor lighting, irrigation, and they can do it all, not just homes, but businesses and large HOAs, condominiums, corporate parks. They do it in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. Call them 954-472-0622. Tell them that Big O sent you. CuttersEdgePro.com. All right. Let's see. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for a lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. That's it. I love it. That's our Gordon Gekko moment right there. That's it. Big O, any comments what we were going to pick in the 2026 draft? I love you guys. That is awesome. I watched the Chargers running backs last night. They had no light touch and drop like their quarterback. Big O, did you find the CBS audio? Oh, yes. Let's do you have it, Sean? Do you have the clip ready now? Do you?
I'm going to try this.
You're going to try. Okay. Let's hear Bill Cowher and his playoff selections. Now, try not to laugh. If you're driving, I need you to pull over right now. I don't want you causing any accidents. You could run into a wall by just laughing your ass off when you hear Bill Cowher spit out his selections. Go ahead, Sean. I don't think so.
Nothing?
I'm not hearing anything.
All right.
Nothing, man.
I'll bring up the video.
Nothing, honey.
Hold on. Let me bring up the video and I'll trim it.
Nothing, honey.
Can you hear me now?
No, just why don't you just record it on SoundForge and then play it after for us? That's it. That's all. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's get ready for hour number 2. We're out here at the top of the hour anyways. So we'll get all that ready for you. We'll try to get that soundbite for you because it is kind of funny. It's actually freaking hilarious, to be quite honest. But we'll do that when we come back right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. Now we're set. All right. Thank you all for keeping it locked. Sean Stanley, of course, the man that masters this program and this platform every single day. Chad Shobe, also getting it done here. As always, that's the dynamic duo that keeps us afloat. That's for damn sure. Let's see what else do we have going on that I wanted to talk. We got the USA and Wales today at 2:00. Although I got to tell you something. So, Qatar is a terrible place. It's got so many different humanitarian issues. It's really disgusting that we're doing it there. By the way, what does it say about us that we are supporting all of this? I know we want to get jingoistic, and I know that we want to root for the USA, or for those of you, obviously, could be, fans of other countries. And a couple days before the World Cup was going to start, they canceled beer sales. Now the European teams that are competing at the World Cup walk back their plans to wear the One Love armband in support of LGBTQ rights during the tournament. They announced Monday that after warnings from international soccer governing body FIFA that they would be penalized for doing so. So captains of the teams from 7 European nations, England, Wales, Germany, Denmark, Belgium, Switzerland, and the Netherlands, made the announcement concerning the rainbow armbands, which are meant to signal support for diversity and inclusion. In an unprecedented move, just hours before matches began, FIFA warned it would issue yellow cards to any players wearing the armband. 2 yellow cards in a game means you're off the field. So that means just a yellow card and you're off because you got one because you were wearing the band. fresh off of a weekend where in Colorado Springs, an animal walked in to a bar called the Q, I believe, and killed 5 members of the LGBTQ community and injured another 25. And in that country, there is no inclusion. In that country, it's constantly mistreatment of human beings. It's pretty disgusting that we're even supporting a World Cup. I got to be honest. We shouldn't even watch it. We shouldn't even talk about it. It should not even exist. That's the way you stick it to FIFA. Is it going to happen? Of course not. Of course not. Because you're going to care more about the sport than human beings. Unfortunately. And we're talking about listen, man, people get mistreated all over the world. But it's not necessarily a law by the land. It's just we have, disgusting people like that animal that walked in to that club the other night. But most of us are decent human beings, and most of us, we're inclusive and we respect everybody, right? But there are countries where they don't want to respect anything, a woman's rights or somebody's sexuality or somebody's nationality or their color or their religion or whatever it is. And, Qatar's got all of those issues. It's kind of screwed up, to be quite honest. They really do not deserve our support if we're going to, if we're really going to care about humanity. That's the message that should have been sent to FIFA is like, yeah, we're not tuning in. We don't care. It's pretty sad for all of us to be supporting a World Cup held in a country like that. And by the way, our thoughts and prayers, obviously, to our Americans in Colorado Springs who lost their lives, because those were Americans, and several others that were injured. Anyway, Brett Dodger, hence Live Golf Tour. Yeah, well, I don't watch that anyways. That has nothing. I could care less. Live Golf Tour can die. I don't care. It does nothing for me. Samuel says, I agree, Big O. Didn't know that. Thank you for informing us. Yes, sir. What do we got?
I think I got it ready, hopefully.
You got it? Okay. Richard says, politics have to stay out of sport. This one I disagree with. One that I don't agree with that they've done is done to gay people, but I'm there to watch sports, not to watch political opinions. Richard, politics and sports have been tied together for decades, my brother. Wake the hell up, dude. What is wrong with you? I always love that ignorant stance by people. Oh, politics and sports, this, that. Yeah. Well, then, guess what? You got Muhammad Ali. You take away his boxing career for a couple of years. And then he has to fight and fight about and talk about a war that he doesn't want to be a part of. Politics and sports have been a part of they've been together forever, my brother, in so many cases. From the 72 Olympics to all kinds of stuff that have gone on, politics and sports have always been tied together. So get your head out of your ass, Richard. It's never going to stop. Do you know why? Sports is a strong platform, my friend. That's where you can get a message to a lot of people. So that's why politics and sports will always cross over. In every way, shape, and form, politics and sports is always going to cross over. It's the way it is. You had countries, we didn't go to the Olympics because of politics. It goes like that. So this silliness of, I don't want my politics and sports. Well, it's in there. And it's always going to be in there. So you know what, Rich? You're better off not watching any sports whatsoever, my brother. You might as well quit. Because it's always going to be there. Why? Because that's their platform. So if they want to fight for, LGBT rights, if they want to fight for the right to speak out on whatever it is that they want to stand up for, you name it, man. If they have a racist owner and they want to fight that racist owner, well, then those are the politics. Like what happened with the Clippers, what happened with the Reds. I mean, politics and all kinds of tough subjects are going to always cross over with sports. And every time I hear somebody say, "Oh, I don't want politics and sports to cross over," wake the hell up. Okay? Wake up. If you don't think it's politics when Jim Abbott is in Cuba mowing down the Cubans with one arm, it's politics, dude. Because you're trying to break down the walls of communism while you're there. So when Edwin Moses is shoving it to Hitler right up his ass in the middle of the Olympics, well, that's part of it, my man. Politics and sports are always going to collide, whether you like it or not. And this thing, oh my God, I don't want my politics and sports to collide. Grow up. Grow up. It's going to be there every time because sports is the stage. And that allows them the platform to go out and fight for whatever cause they believe in. Okay? And by the way, you know what I also find it? I kind of find it disrespectful that you get to step into their world and you get to be thrilled by everything that they do. And then they do something that you don't agree with, so now it's unacceptable. So you only want to use them up for what you want, but you don't want to support them for what they need. Pretty interesting, Richard. Pretty interesting. Way to go, my man. Way to have some understanding for your fellow human being who might be fighting for the rights of people who need their rights to be fought for. Or maybe they're speaking for those who can't speak. Way to respect that. Jesse Owens, I'm sorry. I said Edwin Moses. I'm sorry. Jesse Owens. My bad. Politics and sports not mixed. Ask that of every Olympian who got burned by the East German judge. So yeah. It's just funny, the whole politics and sports thing. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. Whether you like it or not, sports and politics will always be tied together. Always, dude. I don't care if we're talking about what happened in hockey or what happens in basketball with the Russians or what, it just goes on and on and on and on. If you think that politics and sports aren't going to tie each other to one another, you're out of your mind and you have no touch of reality. What do we have here? Hunter Butler, thank you, sir. Qatar had migrant workers come in and they stripped them of their rights and confined them to industrial zones that excluded the city. That's slavery. I know. I mean, seriously, the world should ban the World Cup. No one should watch the World Cup. Not going to happen. But that's kind of the message that should be sent to FIFA. And all of its sponsors and everything, and they make no money and they lose their asses so badly that it sends a message to them to never do something so disgusting in cutting a deal with a nation like this that, is back 100 years and ruining lives. So, yeah. Big O, I don't check in often while you are on live, but I have a theory on Sanders this year. What if Sanders' problem is losing confidence because of Flo? He's not around. Are you saying Flo was the reason why he was confident? Is that what you're saying, Tucker? I don't know. You got to explain yourself on that one. That doesn't make any sense to me, to be quite honest with you. I think Jason Sanders is just a kicker, and he may have lost it. Maybe in the middle of losing it. I've seen this before with all kinds of kickers. It's normal. It happens all the time with kickers. So I'm not sure. Let me see. I feel like there were times when Flo didn't send him out when we should have, and it got in his head. Oh, okay. Well, you know what, JJ? If it got in his head, he's not the right kicker. That's all. You know what I mean? If it got in his head, you're not the right quarterback. If it got in his head, you're not the right pitcher. If it got in his head, you're not the right basketball player. If it got in his head, you're not the right CEO. You're not the right general manager. You're not the right salesperson. You're not the right teacher. You're not. We all have to be mentally tough in everything that we do. Everything. Teachers have to be incredibly mentally tough. Police officers have to have a mental toughness that is at a level that most of us never have to achieve. But that's what makes them special if you're going to be that. If you can't, then you can't be that. And those are the bad cops that we see all the time. The ones that aren't mentally tough enough to handle what comes with the business. You know, if you're a stockbroker, right? You're going to have some moments and you're going to have months where you're going to have just bad times. Not a day or two, months. And you've got to weather that negativity to fight through it. Remember what I just told you about Mario? That's one thing I like about Mario Cristobal. He's going to stay the course. He's going to stay strong. Everything's going to be falling apart, and it's going to be disastrous all over, but he's going to be that steadying force that through this whole crap, those young kids that make it through with him, they're going to go, this was the same guy through everything. He stayed the course. He stayed consistent. And it's really important to stay that way. Even through adversity, you must be calm, cool, and collective through the adversity. That's what good leaders do. And this is part of it. And so if Jason Sanders is flustered in any way possible from Flo, from Mike McDaniel, from the situation, then he's the wrong kicker. Okay? Kicker's going to miss a kick. But I need you to come back saying, there's no way I'm missing the next 400 of them. And that you go out there and you go hit the next 100. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. Not, I'm hitting one, then I hit 3 more and I missed 2 more, and then I hit 1 and I missed 2, and then I hit 5 and I missed 1. No, that's not the guy. That's not the guy. Then you lost it. If there's anything wrong with Jason Sanders, then you're not the guy. Get rid of him, move on, go find somebody else. That's what I love about what I just told you about Tua at the beginning of the show, right? That we were just talking about all that stuff. How Tua stood there like a man and dealt with all the bullshit for 2 years. A coach that hated him and never wanted him, had to deal with owners that didn't want him either. And meanwhile, he had to kind of fight through all of this, play the game, never pointed a finger at anybody. Ever. And had every reason to point fingers at everybody else. Never got in a battle with the media, never got in the battle with the fans. Nothing, dude. A man the entire time. And if you didn't come out of these 2 years admiring Tua even more, then I have no hope for you at all. None whatsoever. We're done. Okay? We're done. I can't explain anymore what greatness is all about. It's not just about a player. It's about being a leader, about being a winner, about having mental toughness. And that's what a fireman has. And that's what somebody that an EMT has, who has to deal with travesty and just bad news practically every day, but is fighting every day of his or her life to keep people alive in one accident or one tragedy after another. They can't be all depressed and negative and all. No, man, they got to get back out there the next day, just like a doctor. I could never do those jobs. Could never do those jobs. Those are special people, man. Special people like police officers and EMTs and firemen that deal with tragedies every day. And yet the next day they must refocus and do the job and forget about whatever tragedy they dealt with yesterday. Forget about the life they lost yesterday trying to save. And they have to save the next 50. We all deal with it in every walk of life, man. The man or woman that's a salesperson has a number they've got to reach every month, and there's pressure to do that. So if Jason Sanders is folding for any reason whatsoever, you're out of here. You don't have a requirement for the job. Mental toughness. I know what you're dealing with. I get it. Guess what? Every other kicker in the world has had to deal with it in the NFL. Deal with it. Oh, you can't? Can't be part of the job. Oh, you're a doctor. Oh, you can't deal with the tragedy? Sorry, you can't be a doctor. Get the hell out of here. There's a requirement that comes with the job. Does Jason Sanders have it? Right now, there's a lot of us that think he's losing it. I'm one of them too. I'm with you there. I would have brought in a young kicker, personally. Okay? But if this is what Crossman and Greer have decided to do, and I'm sure McDaniel, then because all three of them had to have this conversation. Do we bring in a kicker? Is it time? Do we worry about him? This, that. First of all, if it ever came up in that conversation that if you bring a young kicker and put him on the practice squad, that it might make Jason Sanders nervous, then I would cut Jason Sanders on the spot. Okay? If you're a starter and they bring anybody in, you should be, I'm gonna kick his ass and prove to the front office you didn't need him. That should be your attitude. Nothing personal against the competitor, but it has to be a personal thing from within. So if Jason Sanders is folding, get the hell out of here. Big O says, Howard, you're kind of hard on a team that was 48 minutes away from the finals. Who are we talking about? The Heat? Come on, man. Let's be honest. All right. It happened. You were almost a shot away, and great. And what does that mean? There's no PJ Tucker now. And are you going to get back there? That doesn't mean that you're going to get back there. So, Howard, I'm just going by what I see. And I see an older team in certain areas. I see players that really aren't worth the money that you're paying them. I see a lot of bad contracts right now with the Miami Heat, unfortunately. Yeah, this one, you can't allow players to run the asylum. And the fact that he wanted Kyle Lowry at this age was a bad move by the Miami Heat. And if you did it to appease Jimmy, well, then Jimmy, you just screwed up your chance to win a title because you ruined by using your cap space on that guy. So Crossman is our weak link in coaches. He got fired from the Bills for identical reasons. Well, right now I would not be a guy in Crossman's corner at this point. Big O, please give these FIFA World Cup comments their own videos so I can share it. I'm not watching the World Cup. On their own video. So I can show. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure Sean will slice that one up and put it out there. So it'll be out there, audio and video. I'm sure he'll put it out there. But it doesn't speak well for us that we're as a world that we're supporting this. To be quite honest, nothing against the players or any of the countries, but just us as human beings, all of us. It's bad. That it's not a good look on all of us that we're supporting this crap. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I don't remember seeing Qatar women in the stands since they're second-hand citizens. Oh, you know what, dude? I have yet to look at a minute of the Olympics. I did not watch anything yesterday. What the hell do I want to watch Qatar play? It's like no interest. I mean, if I'm going to watch, I'm going to watch some good matches. I'm not going to watch just any match. I'll watch some of the good matches. I do have a life, so I've got other things to do. I'm not going to sit here and watch every single soccer match on the World Cup. I'll watch the ones that I find sexy. And Qatar is not one I find sexy. All right. I told you about Bill Cowher. I think we've got it now, ready to go. I was laughing yesterday, and I did this way before the Jets and the Patriots game played, that they averaged 2.77 inches per play in the second half. Zach Wilson was, 9 of 22 for 77 yards, a robust 77 yards in a 10-3 loss. I have never been a Zach Wilson guy at all. I'm not one of those idiots that fell in love with his workout because he was running one way and throwing another. And I always hear these. It's like the Jamarcus Russell Jamarcus Russell, the greatest workout. I always hear that and I laugh. And I'm sorry. When did a workout? I thought Joe Burrow was a player because what I saw at LSU, not because what he worked out at. No. I watched him at LSU. The dude's a baller. That's why he's a baller, okay? That's what I saw. That dude. But anyway, so Bill Cowher was arranging his playoff teams yesterday. So I want you to, get a whiff of this one. Go ahead, Sean. Play Bill Cowher yesterday.
The playoff picture as you see it. So I'm going to say this. I like Kansas City there, number one. You know what? Reflection of your team, Mike Vrabel. Running game, tough. Jeffrey Simmons. Get out of here, ball. We're right here. You're going right over here. I still like the running game. I still like the running game. There's still three. But you know what? Don't give up on the Bills. Sometimes you hit a wall in the middle of the season, and you know what? You get better because of it, and they will. So they're fourth with a little bit of chip on their shoulder. I do like the Dolphins right here at 5. No, excuse me. I like the Jets here at 5.
Whoa.
Yes.
Oh,
I like the Dolphins here. And the Patriots, get out of here.
Whoa.
How about this? I'm going right here. I'm going to go to the Chargers with Justin Herbert. I'm the playoff picture as
all right. So, Mr. Spit ends up putting, and listen, I get that you want to put Kansas City one, you want to put Buffalo ahead of Miami because at that moment, the former wide receiver, what's his name? Oh, God, he's there with the guy with the glasses. He had the Dolphins up, and so he then bumped the Dolphins at 3, and he put the Bills at 3. And so, listen, I get it. You want to put them as one of the divisional winners, that's fine, and put them there. I got no problem with that. But then he puts the Jets ahead of the Dolphins. And that, to me, right there, that was Mike Westhoff all over again. And again, this is what I need you all to do for me, okay? I know I'm not there right now, thank the Lord. But maybe I'm there in 5 or 10 or 15 years from now. I don't know if I'll still be doing this in 15 years. Got to be honest. I don't really want to do this in 15 years. I think I want to be resting in 15 years. 10, I can see that, but that's about it. So let's just say if I'm still around in 15 years doing it, I hope I'm resting and relaxing with the wife. But if I'm still around 15 years doing this, I need you to tell me, the time has passed you by. Because we heard Mike Westhoff and his old ass, and he's in his 70s. And Bill Cowher's in his mid to late 60s, I think it is. So I get it, but they're getting too old for this. And what they don't understand is that Mike McDaniel and part of some of these offensive guys, it's a part of the changing and the evolving of the league. Like everything evolves. Like NBA basketball is completely different than it was in the early 2000s to the 90s to the 80s. Basketball has evolved. It's a different kind of game. Way more offensive, way more three-point oriented, less defensive. Everything is different in the game. The way they play the game, it's different. And in football, Mike McDaniel is part of a new wave of offensive minds that are in this game. And also a new wave of coaching, too. That's the thing. So that's why everything changes. To me, that's where Bill Cowher, you can tell, is not changing with the times. Clearly not a Tua guy. But the funny part is, what the hell did Zach Wilson ever accomplish to be ever considered even close to Tua? What would make you actually think that guy belongs anywhere in the same sentence? He hasn't done anything whatsoever. And yet you're Bill Cowher and you're picking the Jets over the Dolphins right now? A team that has made a living of beating backup quarterbacks this year. That's where almost all of their wins have come. They've faced a backup quarterback almost every time. I'm not sure what Zach Wilson has done to convince anybody right now. But Bill Cowher reminded me of Mike Westhoff with our boy Joe. Sounding really old, really curmudgeon, and not understanding because, one, players are different, personalities are different. You're going to need a different style of coaching. And then the other thing is the game is changing. And Mike McDaniel is clearly one of the best offensive minds in the game right now. And Chris Greer is actually doing some of the best GMing there is in the league. Pretty amazing. I can't think of a starting QB who is worse than Zach. Yeah, it's pretty bad. He's right up there, man. Yeah. It's a good one right there. I'm trying to think of somebody that's worse than Zach starting right now. God, that's a good one. Yeah. I put the Heineke kid in front of him. Wow. Oh, Baker looks really bad. That's a tight race between him and Baker. By the way, the shooter now faces 5 counts of murder and 5 counts of bias-motivated crime causing bodily injury. How about fry his ass on the spot? Big O, the Jets have some really nice young pieces and a solid defense, except their quarterback is going to hold them back. Exactly. You are correct. Breece Hall is a hell of a player. When they get him back next year, hopefully this injury doesn't really do any long-term damage to the kid because he is special, man. But you're right. No, I am objective, dude. Okay? The Jets do have some nice pieces on that team. You are correct. But they don't have the quarterback. And I've watched the Dolphins, with all kinds of nice pieces and never a quarterback. I've watched them with Sam and Pat and Jason and Zach and not a quarterback. And I watched them with Cam Wake and Jones and Ricky Williams and, whatever, and no quarterback. So I know that feeling as a Dolphins fan. I've seen those Dolphins teams many, many years that you go, damn, if they had a quarterback, they'd be a playoff team. because it's a pretty good team. It just doesn't have a quarterback. Now they've got their franchise quarterback, so it's a beautiful thing. Big O, I think Bill Cowher doesn't like the fact that it took him so long to get his success, and it looks like Mike McDaniel's a better coach than he was or will ever be much faster. Nah, I don't know about that. You know, even Jabroni's playing better than – yes. Dude, Jabroni didn't play bad yesterday. I watched the game. They dropped some passes that actually Jabroni threw right there in their hands. They would have been even better yesterday if they actually caught the ball. I got to give Jabroni credit, man. You know, I may not be a Jabroni fan. Hey, Tannehill didn't play bad on Thursday night. He did all right on Thursday night. Now, that's going to happen. They're going to play, you know, good athletes are going to give you, you know, some good performances. Doesn't mean they're good quarterbacks, but yeah, that once in a while they're going to come up with some good performances. And even Jabroni played pretty well yesterday. And I am. How about the Bills yesterday? You've got them whining and complaining, right? And what's it called? Let me see. Okay. I'm trying. Let me get. I think we're gonna get Poupart at 12:30 instead. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll get Poupart at 12:30. We're supposed to get Poupart at 11:30. All right. What was I saying now? Now I forgot. As I saw that text. Now what the hell was I talking
Buffalo
about?
Bills crying or something.
Oh, yes. So yesterday, the Bills are, you know, they're kind of struggling a little bit there, right? And in the first half, and then there's that scene with Stephon Diggs and the coach, and they're like huddled up. And clearly Diggs was already whining and bitching that he wasn't getting the ball in the first half. And then finally they got him the ball in the second half a couple times and things change. And Josh also had his share of frustrations too. As I told you on Friday, I would not be surprised if they lose one of these two games. And yesterday, the Browns had some moments that they could have made it really interesting and maybe even beat them. But the Bills, obviously, a much better team. They figured it out. They did enough, and they got it done. Detroit will be a nice test for them on Thursday. You know, Detroit's now got what? They're 4-6 after the win yesterday. So they've picked up and obviously beaten the fraudulent Giants. The Giants, I'm not believing Daniel Jones in any way, shape, or form, my friends. Okay? No shot am I believing in that guy. He doesn't have the edge that you need. And by the way, if you want the edge, you want the finest energy drink on the planet, only 78 calories, delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste, go to myedgedrink.com. You can only get it online and use our code Big O so you can get 10% off anywhere in the country, man. myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O, get 10% off. And by the way, as an elixir, it is absolutely delicious, man. Mix it with that vodka. You are going to love it. myedgedrink.com, the best energy drink on the planet. Yes.
Check your Twitter DMs. Grant Wall is at the World Cup, and he tried to get into the game, and he was told he needed to change his shirt because he's got the basketball. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. Yeah. I'm telling you. Why don't you pull up that tweet, please? That's what I'm telling you. This is not an event. This is not an event that we should support. That's all. Seriously. I know those of you that hate soccer, you don't care. But there you go. Just now, security guard refusing to let me into the stadium for the USA Wales. You have to change your shirt. It's not allowed. Hell, I'm glad. I'm happy he hasn't gotten arrested in the streets for wearing the shirt. What a shame. What a shame. Tell you, man. By the way, folks, remember you can also vote in the Pro Bowl. For those of you Dolphin fans out there, you can. All you have to do is, I believe, is vote. Send the word vote to 635-635, and they'll send you back the link, and you can vote for your favorite player in the Pro Bowl. And as you can see, I voted for my guy, Tua Tagovailoa. You can vote also for Tyreek. You can vote for Waddle. You can vote for Hunt. Okay. There you go. You can vote again. I voted a couple times. So go on your phone right now. Okay. Put 635-635 and put the word vote, and they'll send you the link, and you can start voting for your favorite Miami Dolphin. And vote for Tua and vote often. Okay. Let's go. Let's get the Tua votes out there. Let's get the Tyreek votes, the Waddle votes, the Robert Hunt votes, the Javon Holland votes. I got that in there too. If Brandon Jones, Brandon Jones was still playing, I would have voted for his ass too in there for the Pro Bowl. What do you think, Sean? I'm deciding, dude. It's the same week. So do we go to the Senior Bowl and then possibly go to the Super Bowl right after? So from Mobile, we got to go over to Arizona. Or do we go to a week in Vegas right before the Super Bowl and we cover the East-West Shrine / Pro Bowl? What do you guys think? There's over 600 people there. What would you want the platform to cover? The Senior Bowl and then go over to the Super Bowl to cover the Dolphins, because you know the Dolphins are going to be there and win the Super Bowl this year. So we're going to be there. Party at my house in Arizona. Or do we go to the East-West Shrine game? Because the East-West Shrine, the Senior Bowl, now I've done something really dumb that I can't stand, that they both are having their games in the same week. Now, they used to not overlap. They used to be a week apart. But whatever. But at the same time, while I'm in Vegas, the Pro Bowl's going on. And if the Dolphins, by some reason, don't make the Super Bowl, a lot of those guys will be in the Pro Bowl. So one way or another, we do Dolphin coverage at the Pro Bowl or Dolphin coverage of the Super Bowl. But is it better to cover the East-West / Pro Bowl then the Super Bowl, or is it better to go to the Senior Bowl / then Super Bowl after that, the week after? What would I do? Vegas or Mobile? That's all. Vegas, Mobile. Vegas, Mobile. That's it. Doesn't sound really like much of a...
No, it doesn't at all. Now that you put it that way.
Right.
I don't even want to go to Mobile.
Hold on a second. Don't give me
Vegas.
this.
I'll make it. I'll make it up. It's Vegas.
No, I know you'll make it, dude, but you're not going to do anything. I know you. You're going to work. You're going to hang out. That's it. But you're not going to go to any shows or concerts or anything like that. So
No,
you're not
that's
really
for
going to
you.
take advantage of Vegas. And you and I aren't really like strip club people or any of that shit. So we don't do the debauchery stuff. But the other stuff you don't even do.
Yeah, but that's because there's not going to be a lot of time. I mean, East-West Shrine will be interviews after interviews.
Yeah, that's true.
Pro Bowl, the same thing. And then if we're doing both the same week, that's going to be even, I'll have stuff to do.
Frankie says there's a wrestling event in Vegas. Is there? I don't know. You would know that. Is there a wrestling event? My God, if there's a wrestling event
I don't know if it's that time in January, though. I don't know. I have to check that.
You're gonna
I
have
mean,
to
they
check
do
it, bro.
events in there. I just don't know if it's that week. Frankie might have the schedule right in front of him. That's why he's saying that. But
If there's what, then that's it. That settles it. Wow. So we would cover the East-West Shrine, the Pro Bowl, and your wrestling event. Then we go to the Super Bowl the following. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Dolphin Lifer, there is a Pro Bowl. It's not a game anymore, but actually I like it now. I
think it's
hated the
gonna be
game.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way better. It's a skills competition. They're going to have all kinds of things. There is a Pro Bowl. It's a Pro Bowl event. They have events going on, but it's not, and it's no longer the game anymore. And the game sucked anyways. I like better. I'd rather have a skills competition with football. I used to love what was that called? The
Saturday
Stars.
Skills Challenge that they used to do.
Right, yeah. What was that called? The Battle of the Network Stars, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
I'd rather have that kind of stuff for the football players than any stupid game, bro. The game sucked. I never watched the game anymore. I haven't watched the game in years. I told this story before. The last Pro Bowl I've watched, like in the last 15 years, I was in Dallas for the Super Bowl, and I was at a cigar bar with Brandon Rodriguez. And because it was on a television, no sound, I would look up at it every once in a while I was smoking cigars, hanging out with the fellas. That's it. That's the last time I've watched the actual Pro Bowl game in the last 15 years. I wouldn't watch the Pro Bowl if my life depended on it, bro. I don't care.
You know what's
We'll
funny is
party with you in Vegas.
more competitive.
What's that?
The skills challenge thing will probably be more competitive than the Pro Bowl ever was.
You are so right about that. Sean AEW is in the West Coast during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I know they got the West Coast thing because they're doing the Northwest and then down toward the West Coast. I just don't think they're right in Vegas. And also, I think 305 Domi nailed it for us here.
What do you say? Mobile, great Applebee's there. Yeah, that's true.
That's why we go to Vegas.
The QB challenge was always the best part. Yep, definitely. Yeah, Marino was awesome in it. I remember that. I'll go to the strip clubs for us, says Chad. Give the people the inside scoop. Little Darlings in Vegas is my spot. Little Darlings. Well, I've never even. I don't go to any of the strip clubs. I've heard of the white rhino, the pink rhino. I've heard of that one. What's the other one that I've heard of? There. It's weird, man. I know I don't go to Vegas for that. I'm one of the few people, So you guys think, right? I should go, or we should go to the East West and cover the East West. Well, the East West Shrine, we get to cover a lot of the draft picks, right? That are going to be the only thing is that most of them are all second and third day guys. Mostly third, actually. Very few second, none first. And then the Senior Bowl has some first, some second, and some third. Obviously, it has a little bit more. Spearmint Rhino, there you go. Cheetah is also there. There you go. There you go. So, another interception by Herbert on the fourth quarter versus Chiefs. I don't understand. Said this guy is a top 5 quarterback, and don't put 2 in that category. I miss Battle of the Network Stars. Linda Carter in the swim competition was epic. If you get my drift, of course. Anything Linda Carter was just exceptional. Linda Carter is just, wow. That is like drop dead gorgeous. Linda Carter. My Lord, that woman was beautiful. Hey, remember at the top of the hour here, Andy Behrens is going to join us. Send in your fantasy football questions now on our Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056 in the Welt and Rayom text line. You can also, you know what? Not yet. Okay, not in the chat board yet. Wait a couple minutes because that way it doesn't disappear. But when noon rolls around, start putting them on the chat board. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? Herbert is at it again. Yes, we got it. He's great at losing games. Frankie Fresco, MJF, new AEW champ. Who will dethrone him eventually? Sean, you got to answer that. I can't answer that question, bro.
At this point, I don't think the person is on the roster that's going to dethrone him. That's all I'll say. MJF will be the face of AEW for a while.
Okay.
And
There you
CM
go.
Punk is not coming back. I can tell you that now. What he said during the Cage, he was the special guest commentator on the Cage Fury or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about making a Fury Pro Wrestling. And he's like, you don't want me in your locker room and don't put me in a press conference. And so he went back at what happened at the AEW and with the way they brought the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega back in with no mention of CM Punk. That's a done deal.
Okay. There you go. And no Chris Jericho either. He's rocking. He's got a metal band. He's got a tour. And
He's the ROH champion right now. He's got a championship belt. He's Ocho.
Cinco? Not
No,
Cinco?
Ocho. He won his 8th world title, the ROH World Championship. Okay. So now he's Ocho.
Okay, he's only Ocho, not Cinco.
Yeah.
Just
no,
Ocho.
not Ocho Cinco. No, he's just Ocho.
True Fin fan says not a strip club guy, so I'll be chilling with you guys. There you go. You know it. So there you go. What was that? Do you know what was on his shirt? Somebody asking. Yeah, pro LGBT, bro, supporting LGBT. Why is there something wrong with that? You don't like it? That should not be something that would ban you from going in there. You know, it's a disgusting country. Again, it's really irresponsible for all of us to support this. Incredibly irresponsible for all of us to support this. No one should buy tickets to go there. No one should fly there. No one should cover it. No one should watch it. That's the message that you need to send the greed of FIFA. Unfortunate. Sorry for the athletes. It's not their fault, but that's really what should happen. In fact, if all the players that aren't participating part of communist countries should also this is not the place we want to play our game. That would be the perfect thing. That's the way you really stick it to FIFA and everybody else. Would it happen? No shot. Ron G says, I bet some people are happy with Herbert being picked off and losing the game so they can say how Herbert isn't any good rather than seeing the Chargers win to help the Dolphins for that number 1 seed. Guess what, Ron G? What does that do for you? So did you think if everybody – I was rooting for the Chargers yesterday. I even tweeted out that my loser ass was rooting for them. But let me ask you, Ron G. So if the entire Dolphin Nation was rooting, was that going to make a difference yesterday? I'm sorry, is that going to make you feel better, my man? Do you think it would have changed the outcome? Why? Did you think wearing that red shirt every time the game's on is the reason why you won or you lost? Or sitting in that specific seat? Or drinking a beer at a specific time during the game gives your team the magic mofo? Come on. Or mojo, that is. Come on. Come on, dude. Let's go. Who gives a shit? I wanted the Chargers to win yesterday. In fact, I was talking with a friend of mine. I go, we need the Chargers actually to win, dude. And he goes, wow, we got to root for that choker. And I go, yeah, you got to root for that choker. You need that choker to win. We need Kansas City to lose. Was that going to help at all, Ron G? Seriously, who gives a shit what they rooted for? I love people that you think that's going to make a difference. My God. Yeah. If all of us root, we'll create good karma. And then the good karma will get down to the Chargers. And the Chargers will win, and they'll defeat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that'll help the Miami Dolphins. Come on, man. Would you pay $130 for a ticket for the Niners and the Dolphins or watch from home? Haven't been to a game in years. Where's the 130? Is it like in the Bob Uecker seats in the third level at the top? No, I would watch it on television. Is it in the second or first level? Yeah, hell yeah, I would go. Yeah. Yeah, I would go. Definitely. You get to watch a hell of an offense. You get to watch, you finally have a real franchise quarterback. Yeah, bro. Go to the game. Now, if you're paying $130 to sit in the top level in the back, no. I'd rather watch it on television. Yeah. But if you're paying $130 for a good seat, yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat, my man. Especially if you haven't gone in years, especially since you're a Dolphins fan and we haven't had a team like this, and we've never had a quarterback like this since Marino. Yeah. Hell yeah, go, bro. Yes. Enjoy yourself. Chris Ike says, good morning, Big O. Is there any particular reason why they wouldn't want to see any other quarterback in the snow besides Tua? They had to move the Bills game to Detroit. Good morning, Big O. There's a particular reason why they wouldn't want to see any other quarterback in the snow besides Tua. They had to move. What's the question? I'm not sure what that means. Do you understand what he's asking, Sean? Because I have no idea what he's asking.
Not necessarily that, but I know there's some people saying that when the Dolphins play the Bills, if there's snow, they need to move it. Because I guess they're trying to get maybe a conspiracy type thing going that they want to see Tua in the cold weather and they moved the Bills game. But that was in 6 feet of snow, not 6 inches. Yeah, it's a little bit different.
I know we had some people that were really stupid last week trying to say that, is the NFL trying to help the Bills? No, dude, they're trying to help humanity. Okay? You can't have human beings traveling in that weather to and from the stadium. People will die. And those fanatical Bills fans, a lot of them will die because those people are flat out crazy. Okay? Because they probably would light themselves on fire on the way to a stadium while they're driving. So those people are already dangerous as it is, diving on everything that there possibly is. Tables with food, tables on fire, you name it, they dive on everything. They're crazy already as it is. You cannot have the streets open and try to have people come to and fro from the stadium. That would be so dangerous. So they did the responsible thing. They looked out for humanity. Had nothing to do with any advantages whatsoever.
Hey, I got one question for you, though.
Yes.
Why didn't they have the team leave the night that they moved the game?
I don't know.
The players. That was the weirdest thing, because then they were like, they moved the game and everything, and then they were like, we might have to cancel still because now the players can't get out of Buffalo.
Yeah, apparently it was a hell of a mission.
Yeah,
getting each player out of their own homes and making sure that they can, shovel them out and all that stuff. And yeah, it was crazy, man. It was absolutely nuts. I'm with you there. Guess what, folks? Get your fantasy football questions ready. Andy Behrens is going to join us. Did you suffer some injuries yesterday? We had some injuries. Maybe some players that need to come back. You want to find out about those? You got the Monday night game coming up. We got the Thursday night games coming up. We got a bunch of questions to ask Andy Behrens about some of these games coming up. But if you got some questions, lineups for today, lineups for Thursday, transactions, you name it, Andy Behrens, baby, from Yahoo Sports is coming up. It's our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. That's next to start hour number 3 right here on the Big O Radio Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill, Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Andy Behrens.
There he is. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Good. You know what, that Cutter's Edge Total Landscaping music kind of fires me up when we get ready for this segment. That happens all the time. I took special note of whose company that was this week. I like it. Kind of rocks.
Cutter's Edge. Yeah, they Will's great people. He was actually hanging out with us over at Walk-Ons on Saturday for the Canes game, watching that debacle as Clemson dismantled the Canes 40-10. He's a big. I
got plenty of room on the Iowa Hawkeye bandwagon for you, Big O. Come on, come on.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah, hopefully Mario will straighten this thing out for a bit. By the way, I'm a big believer in your boy, right? But I still have that issue, and I hope he learns to beat people from the pocket. He has all the talent in the world, but when I saw him injure his shoulder this week, it was just one of those, like, don't be Lamar, bro. Don't live on the legs. You better learn.
I don't know if you're watching the game in real time, but he was well before he injured the shoulder. He obviously was running like crazy all afternoon. They were working on his hamstrings at every break, every time he went to the sideline, and it was best case scenario. It turned out to just be cramping. He had an IV almost immediately after the game. But like he was already experiencing, like the hamstring trouble. And they came out of, those final drives, they were still calling designed runs for him, which just seemed a little bit unnecessary. And it was on one of those that he injured the shoulder. And then he took another hard shot a little bit later than that. And he was literally screaming on the field. So this is all by way of saying that it wouldn't surprise me if they held him out this week. It's a, there's no reason.
Teach him to win from the goddamn pocket.
Well,
bro.
I'll say something else. I don't really worry about that because he's got there aren't 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that have a better arm, just in terms of live arm. He can put it anywhere on the field. So I'm a lot less worried about that. This is a weird comparison to make, but I would be more concerned with, if I were a Steelers fan and Kenny Pickett were my quarterback and I know that he can't make every throw and he misses a lot of layups too.
He's young and so that's fine. I can deal with him learning, but at least that's who he is. But the runners, they will have problems as they get to the playoffs because they're going to shut your run down. You're not going to end up winning it all. And it just doesn't happen.
I suppose I'm just saying that Justin Fields.
Go ahead.
No, I suppose I'm just saying that Justin Fields already has a skill set that I don't think is present, just passing wise. Let's not even talk about the running. I think he's got an arm and he's got some instincts that just don't exist for a lot of the other league's young pocket passer quarterbacks. So I think his ceiling is still pretty exceptional. And he's also just at a point in his career where I'm not even this second season. Let's just see some traits. Let's just see some traits that are going to potentially translate into stardom. Because they have, it, because you've been watching the league's best receiving core all year. The Bears have a garbage receiving core, right? Darnell Mooney's fine and he's pretty fast, but they don't he's put the ball in people's hands. The interception that sealed the game hit David Montgomery in both hands. It was a little high, but it was totally catchable. They just don't have guys making plays for them. They've got all the money in the world to spend in the offseason. So I'll be mad if they can't, do the thing that all the good teams did, that the Dolphins did, that the smart teams did this past draft and acquire somebody ahead of the draft, right? That's what I want. I want my Tyreek Hill.
Well, wait a minute, but that's a catch-22. Tyreek Hill would never sign in Baltimore. Doesn't matter what you offer him. Do you know why? He's not going to get the ball because they're going to still be a running team. And that's where my problem with these running quarterbacks and why
AJ Brown went to Philly. And AJ Brown's doing just fine. And he's pretty happy there.
AJ Brown didn't go by choice. He went by trade. Right? He got traded.
But nobody's trading for him unless he's willing to sign a long extension.
That's my point is that you're not going to lure somebody in there in free agency. You're going to have to either trade for them or draft them is the way you're going to do it.
There's nobody available in free agency.
In Baltimore. Wait a minute. In Baltimore. We haven't gotten to that point yet in Chicago. This is what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to get to the point where you prove that he's a passer more than a runner. If it becomes a running offense, you're not going to be sexy to elite receivers. They will not walk over there and sign with you. You're going to have to trade for him or draft them. So then that becomes a challenge a little bit for Chicago because receivers are divas, bro. Did you watch the Bills game yesterday? It's halftime, sure. And Stephon Diggs is crying like a little bitch to his coach that I'm not getting the ball. And it's like, dude, you've been getting the ball tons for years now since you've been in Buffalo. So for a half now, things aren't going your way. You're whining like a little bitch. Hollywood Brown, who's not really that good, he's like a decent receiver. He's not this great receiver. He said, I don't feel like I'm a part of this offense when he was in Baltimore. So my point is that the kid needs to develop from the pocket more than he is doing right now. Because if you do end up becoming a running offense, it limits you, one, and two, it will also limit you on the free agent side. You won't be nearly as sexy as
my response to that would just be that the Bears are almost, with the exception of not having a ready-to-win defense, the Bears are offensively at almost the exact spot that the Eagles were last year. They had a developing quarterback who was clearly a run-first quarterback who missed a ton of throws, who I would argue does not have the arm talent that Justin Fields does, and they still found A.J. Brown out. Granted, there was a pre-existing relationship between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, who was willing to sign an extension with your team. I just got to feel like somebody's going to be willing to sign an extension with the Bears and develop over the next 3 or 4 years with Justin Fields.
Yeah, no, and by the way, Jalen Hurts still not good enough. I do not fear Jalen Hurts in the playoffs, not at all. You will not. Eventually, you will stop all these runners, even if they run like the wind, like Lamar. They'll force you into that pocket, and if you're not used to beating people in the pocket, you're not going to start doing it in the playoffs. And that's where Lamar fails every single time because he has yet to learn to play from the pocket. He has.
I will say I think it's a bigger deal in the AFC because the Chiefs will put 35 on you, the Dolphins will put 35 on you, right? Like you're going to have to run into some teams that no matter how well you play defensively, they're just going to put up a big number. Like you're not going to hold them down. I don't like. The Eagles.
There aren't a lot of those in the NFC. You're right. There aren't a lot of those in the NFC right now.
Yeah, like maybe the Cowboys have a day. Maybe you've got a good defense though. Like maybe the Cowboys have a day. Maybe the Bucks figure things out, but they're not where the Dolphins and the Chiefs are right now. Like those teams, anybody from any era, I don't know, roll the 85 Bears out there, and they're like they'll put 38 on them, right? Like they're just too good. So more of an arms race to me in the AFC right now than the NFC.
I like Justin Fields. I'm a big Justin Fields fan. I just want to see him win from the pocket, and if he does that, that's when he becomes completely unstoppable. I need him to become more Russell Wilson. In other words, young Russell Wilson, of course.
Young Russell Wilson. Let's make that important distinction.
Not the one now. Yeah, not the one now. Although now the one now, I'm still kind of a little confused. It's some of him and some of what's going on with Hackett and all of that because I think he's also not being cut.
They need to turn over the entire coaching staff. Like I don't even know what to say. Like the loss that they just suffered, the fact that they can't stop scoring like 16 points. I mean, they gotta I don't know. You handed over the play calling to some lesser Kubiak and that didn't work. You still scored 16 points. Like they gotta turn it over in the offseason, which is crazy because they just signed them all.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we went through it for 2 years with Flo. He just could not figure out anything on the offense. It was just absolutely brutal. All right, if you guys want to get in those fantasy questions, send them in right now on the Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you got them, you can send them in also on the chat board here on the YouTube chat board. Sage is asking, should I drop Gerald Everett and Mike Williams looking to claim Atwell, Cole, and Carter? D. Carter.
Man, Atwell, you're like, why go out of your way to try to acquire shares of the Rams offense? It's probably not going to be Stafford at quarterback next week. I don't know. Maybe they shut him down.
Isn't that guy's name?
Yeah,
Tutu?
like all he did was catch one deep ball
on your team. I mean, I want a Tutu on my team.
Unless this is just utter resignation, and it's fine to drop Gerald Everett, injured player. If you want to pick up somebody who might actually be useful, but like you have the wrong collection of names here. The receivers who are available in a majority of Yahoo leagues right now who might be of interest, I would say would be, Treylon Burks is coming off an exceptional performance on Thursday night, his best game of the year, one of the best games that we've seen a rookie receiver have. He was clowning Jair Alexander. Like that's an interesting player. Sky Moore was a little bit interesting with like no Chiefs receivers healthy right now. You could talk me into Sky Moore. He just saw 6 targets, caught 5 of them. That was pretty good. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been quietly really good for like 6-7 straight weeks now. Those are the guys I might consider. I think we'll probably hear that I would expect that Mike Williams is going to have to miss some time. I'm a little bit shocked that he played. Like he made one sensational catch, didn't appear to even really like twist the ankle that was already injured. He had it so heavily taped and then had to check out. I'd be really surprised if they roll him out there again in the same state. He's got to take a couple more weeks off. I mean, it was a high ankle sprain, and you commend him for coming back, right? Because they're at a point in their season where they got to win games. But I'd be surprised if he's back next week. So I understand dropping these guys, but you are not targeting Tutu Atwell.
All right, there you go. Although, if you really want a Tutu, I get it. Mahomes is my QB with no backup. Do I drop Buffalo's defense for a backup or run with Buffalo and New England's defenses for the rest of the season?
Yeah, that's a pretty good tandem. Like I have a version of this person's problem because I've got the New England defense on some teams, and I will say they've got some dicey matchups coming up. Like they've still got division games against good teams, not against the Jets offense. Like they've got some tricky spots ahead. Who do they have this week? I think they've got the Vikings this week on Thanksgiving, right? So that's obviously the Vikings just got stomped, but that's still a really talented team. The Patriots aren't an ideal start in this one. So I kind of like that as a combo. Like you've got Patrick Mahomes too. So you're never gonna you're just gonna add somebody on the bench, and there's no reason to worry about Patrick Mahomes anymore. If he gets hurt, you're toast anyway. You're not gonna feel any better because you've got Derek Carr on your bench or Trevor Lawrence on your bench. Your fate kind of is tied at this point to Patrick Mahomes' health. So yeah, I would just stick with one quarterback.
I give the Patriots credit. Bringing all those MILFs and putting them all over the stadium really kept that kid busy. That was smart on Belichick's part this time. He didn't mess with any radios. He didn't, do anything. No, he just said, let's bring a lot of older women into the stands.
Speaking, by the way, of young quarterbacks that are just not developing in the correct way.
I've never been a Zach guy.
Yeah, I wasn't a Zach guy coming out, mostly because, his one big collegiate season, he had basically the best offensive line in the country, never felt any pressure, had all day to make throws. And then the one time they saw a good defense, I think it was Coastal Carolina, he had a terrible day. I wasn't a big Zach guy, but I am still surprised that he cannot make the layup throws. Like they can't even have a screen game with Zach Wilson because he can't hit simple stuff. He sails the easiest throws in the game. Like they give him some early, what should be layup throws. Let's get him in a rhythm, and he misses those. And you've got, receivers barking at him.
Just like Jamarcus Russell, he had this great workout.
Yeah, exactly. Like I get it that he's got some traits that you like, but none of them are like high level off the charts traits. And if you can't do the really simple stuff, and I'm not even talking about deep outs, intermediate throws, stuff like that, timing routes. I'm talking about he can't throw a screen pass. It was a problem last year. It's a problem this year. Like I don't know how you move forward with him.
All right. Thoughts as Rondale Moore as a waiver pickup flex spot.
Yeah, he's good. This is here's a good example of somebody who, if they were out there, I would target over Tutu Atwell. Rondale Moore his usage is a little weird because he is generally targeted at the line of scrimmage. But he's a great after the catch receiver. Huge talent, getting a lot of targets right now. And the Zach Ertz injury, it certainly benefits him in terms of target totals, especially with Marquise Brown coming back. Like they're going to have. They're not going to have Ertz, but they're going to have Brown. They're going to have Hopkins. They're going to have Moore. These are three really complementary receivers. Do I trust the coach to maximize them? No, not necessarily. But Moore's seeing plenty of targets, and he's a really talented player. So yeah, Rondale Moore is actually rostered right now in something like 80% of Yahoo leagues. So you're lucky that he's actually out there for you.
All right, somebody's asking, what do I do with Cooper Kupp? And another guy is asking Omar Lopez, should I drop Cooper Kupp? So two different Cooper Kupp questions that came in. How do you handle it, I guess?
Yeah, not a guy that I think you need to keep on the roster right now, especially if he's just, if you don't have IR and he's just burning a bench spot and, you got to win now. It's a high ankle situation. He's not coming back anytime soon. And I don't know why they wouldn't shut him down.
Okay. What should I do with D. Pierce? He's on a terrible team and doesn't have a pretty schedule coming up. Should I start Jeff Wilson over him or add Peroni on the waiver wire?
Oh, I assume he's looking at Samaje Perine, who might be useful for a week if Joe Mixon remains in the concussion protocol. Dameon Pierce is great, and you should keep him and you should start him. I will say the setup for Jeff Wilson is outstanding this week. Facing Houston, right? You guys face Houston this week. Yes. The worst run defense in the league. Highly exploitable. He's coming off a game with 17 carries. So we're starting Jeff Wilson everywhere. But Dameon Pierce is he's right at or near the top of the league right now in missed tackles forced. He's as elusive as anybody in the game. He happened to just face an opponent that sold out to stop him, and there's nothing else that Houston can do offensively, and it worked. But he's put up big games against like the Eagles. He's put up big games against good defenses. So I wouldn't view Pierce as somebody that you just have to send to the bench rest of season. But if you want to start, like, I'll probably have Wilson ranked ahead of him this week, in large part because the offense is so good and the defense he's playing is so poor.
I'd have Tua throw like 10 times this week, and I'm running like 50 on their asses. Joey Vasquez, can I trust Olave as a flex going forward? I'm looking to add either Robinson from the Ravens, Peoples-Jones, or Pickens from the waiver wire. Who do you like from those three?
My God, Chris Olave is like a wide receiver 1 moving forward. He's like a wide receiver 2. He's great. He's an absolute star. I know that he's tied to Andy Dalton, and that is not optimal, but he's, it's been Olave and Tyreek Hill at the top of the league in terms of air yards this season. So there's a lot of opportunities here. Beautiful touchdown reception this past week, a long ball. That was good to see. Olave is great, and he can absolutely be trusted as more than a flex. If you have Chris Olave in the flex, you have a stacked team. People are going to add DeMarcus Robinson. I think he probably just had the best game of his season. Caught all of his targets, 9 targets, 128 yards. A good game. I wouldn't expect it moving forward. They're probably still going to lean on tight ends a lot, where Devin Duvernay is going to have more games. They lean on the running game. Like, I wouldn't expect that from Robinson very often. The one name that you said that was super interesting is George Pickens, who also, like Olave, has absolute alpha star potential. They should build their receiving game around him going forward. He's great. The catches that he's capable of, there's not more than 5-6 guys in the league who can do some of the things that he can. So I'm fully sold on George Pickens. If he's available in any leagues, he should be rostered.
Yeah, Pickens looks like he's got some serious toughness at that position. All right, what are you working on this week so folks can check you out at Yahoo Sports?
Yeah, I'm going to have our pickups column live very early tomorrow. It's basically written already, and I'm recording a pickups podcast with Matt Harmon in just a couple hours here. We will be talking Samaje Perine. We will be settling the priorities for you at receiver, at tight end, at quarterback. So please check it out. And everybody have a good Thanksgiving, by the way. You too, Big O.
Have a great Thanksgiving, my friend, and don't eat too much turkey. That tryptophan will knock your ass out. So.
Oh, yeah, I'd hate to miss that Patriots-Vikings game that night.
Yes, there you go. We'll catch up next week, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
You too, brother.
You got it. That is our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone. We leave the zone, and then we will go to Alan Poupart and talk a little Miami Dolphins next.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Andy Behrens. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens. Dolphins fans, time to get insight on your favorite team with your favorite reporter with an Expos hat. Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart in our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
There he is. He's locked and loaded, ready to go. How you feeling?
Doing good. Yourself?
Excellent. Just can't wait for Thursday, bro. Just want to attack that turkey.
There you go. I do turkey all year round, though, if you ask me.
2 days off this week, Sunday and Thursday. I'm like, this is life for me here, bro. This is awesome. 2 days off this week. That is just a little too much. I can't handle it that I'm getting 2 days off this week. So it's good. At the beginning of the season, some folks had Tua as the worst quarterback in the division. How's it looking now, by the way? Just out of curiosity, not you didn't say that, but there were people out there who say, Tua's probably not the, like our boy, what's it called? Mike,
T.
What?
Mike Tannenbaum.
Mike Tannenbaum had Tua as the worst quarterback in the division. So obviously, statistically, he's number one. But just out of curiosity, what do you see out of Zach and Mac? What's in the Zach and Mac show?
Well,
What do
here's
you
the
see?
thing. Well, here's the thing: is Zach Wilson is, pardon my expression, but is sucking big time right now. And what's worse is it's one thing to play like complete shit, or as Robert Saleh said, complete dog shit. And then after the game, when you're asked, do you feel like your offense, not even directed at him, do you feel like the offense of the defense now, and he can't even bring himself up to say, yeah, absolutely, these guys played their asses off and we let them down? No. Gives a cocky, no. I mean, wow, oblivious much? Like, say what you want about Josh Allen. Remember, was it after the Jets game? I mean, he like took it upon himself. He was like, you can't win when your quarterback plays like shit like I did today. Right. I mean, that's basically what you're supposed to say, and that's what's going to make your teammates rally around you. And maybe a reason why Buffalo players love Josh Allen. And I'm going to get the feeling
you can tell he's a good
correct.
Dude, bro.
Yeah, and Jets players probably hate Zach Wilson because he's got a little bit of punk in him. I mean, that's horrible. And now the dilemma the Jets face is, I mean, they have a playoff caliber defense and then some. And basically, their offense is going to keep them out of the playoffs the way it goes. But you're a year removed from picking
a team like that. You ever covered a team like that?
It's vaguely familiar. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's vaguely familiar. I don't know that there's been one to that extreme.
How many years have you covered a team like that, bro? Think about that.
Not to that extreme, dude. I mean, seriously, 2 yards in the second half. Holy smoke! He's bad, and then Mac Jones has regressed, but then again, how much of that, and it's not all of it. Again, nothing is ever just one reason, but he had Josh McDaniel, who by all accounts is a fabulous offensive coordinator. Now he's got Matt Patricia, who by all accounts is far from it. And maybe they're not playing to the guy's strengths. I mean, he's a limited quarterback. That's not exactly a newsflash. So you have to do certain things to emphasize his strengths, and they're not doing that. So, and right now there's a clear demarcation in terms of the quarterback play. And Josh Allen, who's a great quarterback, is kind of going through a little bit of a rough patch right now. Some of it is decision making. Another part of it, you have to wonder how much of an issue this is.
Has to be.
Sorry? Yeah, no, to a certain degree. But you're looking at why are Buffalo and the Dolphins right now looking like the two teams that logically should be the most dangerous in that division? Well, because they're getting good quarterback play and the other two aren't.
Yeah, no, it's you can tell that they should not be convinced with their quarterbacks now, and I'm sure they're already asking for their backups already in New York. I mean, New England's already had to deal with the Zappy craze as it is, because a lot of fans already want Bailey Zappi ahead of Mac Jones, because it's just fun. It's interesting how people had it all phrased up where, Tua's not the guy. These guys are even better. Although I never believed in Zach Wilson. I got to say, I never saw it. I saw the physical ability, but, I never just fall in love with your physical ability. That doesn't make you a great quarterback, bro. That's the part that I think people still can't decipher at times, the physical traits of somebody, and then can they actually be a really good quarterback?
No, and part of it, because the decision-making last year was bad. And the other part that's really coming to light this year is he's not a leader, and it's a position of leadership. And if you're all about me, that ain't going to work unless you're a complete stud, and we all know he ain't that.
Yesterday, your thoughts on the Bills and that game, and then now they've got Detroit on Thursday. How do you assess what the Bills are playing? Because obviously in a couple of weeks, the Dolphins and the Bills are going to meet again.
Well, I would tell you, forget the Dolphins beating them at Hard Rock in September. To me, it looks like a lot more winnable game now than it did at the start of the regular season. There's something off with the Bills. I think, to me, I look at the AFC, and it's clearly
Kansas City.
I know Z's all over the place. Chiefs fatigue syndrome and overdrive. Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship game again. It's going to be the 5th year in a row. And then outside of that, I mean, there's a big mix. I mean, Dolphins, Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati could get there if they get hot. Tennessee, I'm not sold because I'm not a huge Tannehill fan, but that guy can coach like nobody's business. And Derrick Henry's the beast, and that defense is tough. So I can see any team, in that mix joining the Chiefs. But again, the Chiefs kind of separated themselves.
That bell was going off every time you made a good point. Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm hitting the bell myself. You don't see it. I activated myself. I'm giving myself points.
But that is the cool part, that now all games are winnable for Miami now that are left on the schedule. It's not like when we were looking at the daunting task of the first month, and then you're looking at the back end of the schedule and you're like, oh my God, these are tough stretches. And now they're going to be tough, obviously still going to be tough, but at least you don't walk in there going, this isn't impossible. This is actually very possible, for this team. This week, I was just joking around with Scott. I mean, seriously, although I may not be throwing the ball too much this week, right? If the running game woke up last week, right, against a bad defense, well, you're facing the worst defense against the run this week. This is another nice week to work on the run game with the offensive line, correct?
I mean, they could play like crap and still win by 10. I mean, it's
right.
It's completely. It's another good point. And then there you go. No, you're absolutely right. And not only that, even if you don't score 21 points in the first quarter and put them away immediately, it's not like Houston has a ton offensively to really hurt you. I mean, it looks like Davis Mills has regressed after he showed a lot of promise at the end of last year. And now Houston's in a position where likely going to finish with the worst record in the league, and they'll draft a quarterback first overall next year. But there's nothing on that team that really can hurt you. I mean, Larry Tunsil's a great player at left tackle. And then Brandon Cooks is a good wide receiver, except he doesn't want to be there. And then, who else? Damon Pierce is a nice rookie running back, but it's just a really, really bad team. And yeah, like you mentioned, yeah, absolutely. I could see the Dolphins and the game they'll rush for 200 yards.
Yeah, this is a game where I would love to work on the offensive line and give them even more, confidence going into this finals. Because really, this is going to be your best friend. Talk about like beautiful timing. If the running game can really wake up in this second half on a consistent basis with Mostert and now Wilson, brother, for these December games and January games, this is heaven right now if you can actually run the damn ball.
No, and then it's going to come in handy. For example, if the weather's really bad in Buffalo, it's going to be very helpful if you can run the ball really well. And then when they play the Chargers are terrible against the run. So that's a way to beat that defense. So no, absolutely. The more balanced you can be on offense, the better. It's not always going to be working out the way it did against the Browns because the Browns are really bad. And even Buffalo rushed for 160 yards last year. And Buffalo is not a good running team. And it wasn't Josh Allen. It was Devin Singletary and James Cook who got the yardage. So, no, but I mean, certainly the opportunity is there. It's just one of those games. I did a story today that right now the line I saw, the opening line was 11 for the Dolphins, or 11.5. That would be their biggest point spread as favorite since 2003. I mean, that's been a long time.
Yeah. And you know what? These guys don't know about it, but man, it would be nice to keep handing Houston a couple losses to catch up for all those expansion years. Because I remember when they stepped into the league, like the first 5 years, I want to say they beat Miami every damn year, dude, right? You covered it. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, funny you should mention that because that last time they were a bigger favorite than this week was against Houston in the 2003 opener. Houston's second year in the NFL, and then Houston won in Miami 20-19 it was.
Matt Schaub.
Chris Brown kicked the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, Matt Schaub.
It was a late pick. Jay Fiedler threw a late pick, and then Chris Brown kicked the game-winning field goal.
So what would be the percentage now on the Dolphins winning the division? What would you put it at? What percentage?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I don't know.
They're in first place right now based on the head-to-head matchup with
I'd say
the Bills.
50-50. I'd say 50-50. I say they have as good a chance as the Bills. If you're asking me right now, that's kind of how I don't. The Jets aren't going to win it with that offense, and I don't see the Patriots are too limited offensively. That they're 6-4. It's pretty impressive in itself.
Think about that. Think about that, dude. None of us would have said 50-50 at the beginning of the year. None of us. Okay? Even as much as I had confidence in Tua and all that crap, I didn't think this team was going to be better than the Bills, and they have a chance to be better than the Bills this year. That's some shocking stuff, man. I mean, that would be pretty damn impressive.
No, and it's if we're going to be honest, a combination of the two. I think Dolphins are a lot better than we thought they were going to be, and the Bills are not quite the juggernaut that everybody expected them to be. And part of it is maybe some issues that because here's the thing with the Bills is last year they were like 7-5 before they went on. I think it was 7-5 before they went on a run at the end of the year, and then Josh Allen was crazy good in the playoffs, even in the loss at KC, and that was part of the reason why everybody thought, well, okay, that was the prelude, and now they're going to take the next step. Well, the issues that were there when they got to 7-5 early in the last season or through 12 games are still there. They've also had some nasty bad injuries. Losing Micah Hyde was bad. They got Jordan Poyer back for the game yesterday, and that's humongous for them because that guy's a key player in their secondary.
Giants and Vikings both lost. Are they both frauds?
Giants are, but I still think the Vikings are a good team. And this is one of those days where, they got smoked. Giants are not a good team. That's why I had Brian Dable as my coach of the year.
He's done that. I will say, I'm with you there. While I think the Giants are frauds, I'm with you. I don't want him to make it sound like anything against Dable. Dable has done a phenomenal job with a team that has flat out overachieved. I'm with you. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. No. They have a stud running back, and they have two really good interior defensive linemen with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, former teammate at Clemson. But outside of that, tell me who won that roster really wows you. And then they were 7-2 before. Now they're still 7-3 with that roster. That's some good work right there.
Yeah,
and they could get exposed bad. They could get exposed bad too when they play at Dallas on Thursday too.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm also with you on Minnesota. I'm not a Kirk Cousins guy. I think he's a solid quarterback. I think when push comes to shove in the playoffs, he'll get shoved. But I'm with you. I like that roster. I like the roster of Minnesota offensively and defensively.
Yep.
Like they've got a lot of talent on that team. They've done a good job of building that team up the last 10 years.
No question. They got good, solid players, a lot of different spots, and they had the mega superstar with Justin Jefferson. No, that's a legitimate team. I'm with you though. I'm not a huge Cousins fan, but I also look at the NFC, and I'm not a huge Dak fan either. Jalen Hurts did a great job yesterday. He still has to show you can do it in the playoffs, but he had a great comeback yesterday in the fourth quarter against the Colts.
Well, you saw it firsthand. A lot of people had little to no patience with Tua in the first couple of years and kind of either gave up on him or whatever it was. And tonight, you're going to watch a guy with the 49ers and the Cardinals in Kyler Murray, who has gotten every break in the book, who has gotten every bit of understanding in the book. He's also had playmakers around him, has one of the better receivers in the NFL with him that they brought along now the last couple of years. When does Kyler Murray, when does his feet get put to the fire? Because I've been a big Kyler Murray guy, but I got to say, it's time already. You've had enough years to cross that threshold. Show me something. Even what I've seen from Tua in the last couple of weeks, I've never seen that from Kyler Murray. I've never seen him play quarterback at that high level for several weeks. When is Kyler Murray going to feel the pressure?
Never, because of the contract they gave him. Pressure from within the organization, I don't know. Again, because of the contract.
I mean the periphery. I mean, the periphery. Like, people aren't really, they don't challenge him enough out there. You know what I'm saying? Is it because you're in Arizona? Nobody cares?
Maybe. I don't know. I personally have never been a huge fan of the guy. And he's faded badly the last, like late in the season. And then in the playoffs, doesn't show up. Was it against the Rams? Was it last year or the 2 years ago? Where like completely horrendous decision in the end zone. We tried to throw instead of taking the safety. No, I've never been a huge fan of the guy. I am. Yeah, I don't know that he's on the radar that much because they're not a factor. They're meddling around 500 and I'm not even sure he's playing tonight. I think there's an issue with maybe his hamstring. He might miss a game again. It's going to be Colt McCoy against the 49ers defense. Good luck with that one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, but I just find it kind of interesting that we put so much heat on a bunch of other young quarterbacks at times. You know what I mean? And he kind of gets to, kind of go under the radar a lot. And he's gotten his big contract. He's gotten help. They brought what they thought was an offensive mind to kind of go with his talents and all that kind of stuff. And, it's,
I mean,
I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
But he's had flashes. Like, for example, you take the Vegas game early this year. I mean, that was a crazy performance where that buys him maybe some time, and then he has 2 or 3 bad performances in a row, and then maybe you're going to start thinking, some complaining about his performance. Then he's going to have another good game, but the consistency is just not there, and I don't know. It's kind of a floundering organization to me. I don't see them like progressing to anything at all.
All right. Anything on Byron Jones, bro?
Question was asked. In fact, the first question, same as it ever was. Hopeful and optimistic were the words from Mike McDaniel as far as him playing sometime this season, but not this week.
You got the reference, right?
Same as it ever was. Very good.
There you go.
Very nice. Thank you, David Byrne.
There you
go. Get the reference.
I figured I count on you to get that reference.
Well, I'm the one who used same as it ever was, so that's technically you're the one who got the reference.
All right, so what's it called? Tell them what you're doing on alldolphins.com, my friend.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I did a story on looking at the Dolphins' progress from a odds maker perspective. Did you know, like, this is the fifth consecutive game that they'll be favorite 7 times this season, which matches the total for all of last year and all of 2020. And it ain't the last time they're going to be favorite.
No.
I did a recap of the Mike McDaniel press conference's comments. A lot of questions today about scripting, which somebody had asked me in the mailbag, and he basically says you go into every game with 24 plays, 12 runs, 12 pass plays, not including third down. And then they adjust depending on the game circumstances. It's not like we have to check off all 24. And then the locker room's about to open in about 10, 15 minutes. We'll see what comes out of there. And we'll have 87 stories again, as always.
As always, cranking it out. I'm 2 wins away from cashing in my ticket in Vegas. I took the Dolphins over 8.5. So this week they'll get their 8th. And I know they'll pick up the 9th win easily. So that was, to me, a layup this year on that one. And let me tell you something. A lot of us that looked at it this way, because I did, because people said, what do you expect them to be, a playoff team? I said, hell yeah. They've been a 9-10 win team the last couple of years. The only thing you need to do is fix the goddamn offense. Well, guess what? You fix the offense, you're headed for 11 or 12 wins now. Instead of 9 or 10.
Okay, got to run their opening locker room.
Later. Get out of here. Go do your work. Love you. There you go. Alan Poupart. He is awesome. We love him. Great work as always. And that is your EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. For additions, home remodeling, and custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is your custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
I keep getting asked this. Theme Park Point of Views is asking me, Big O, Byron Jones still not practicing per McDaniel. Do we see him before week 17? I think so. I told you for weeks now he's been doing business with the Dolphins. I think he's just looking out for himself, and he wants to come back at 100%. And if he comes back at 100%, then he can go showcase his skills and get ready for the offseason. I think he wants to come back for a couple of games to put it on film that he's healthy. If he allows this injury to linger all year long, then teams will have their doubts in signing him and will not offer him a deal that he would like. But if he comes back healthy and plays well for a couple of games into the playoffs, then he puts good film out there, and then he can get a big contract in the offseason from somebody else. If not, he's going to have to be forced to sign an incentive-laden deal next year. And I don't think he wants to sign an incentive-laden deal. So my gamble and my guess is that he is going to come back for a couple of games in the regular season and into the playoffs. So selfishly, if you're a Dolphins fan, that's a good thing. You become a better team by adding him. You can play more of your normal defense if you can put the two corners out on an island. Plus, it'll move Kohu to nickel, which will make, I think, the situation better because he's got the athleticism to play in the nickel corner, and he's got the hips that you can't really take an advantage of him from moving him from one side to the other at the quarterback spot. So if you go left or right in a route, he's not going to struggle. He's going to be able to stay with you because he's a very fluid athlete overall. So I think he's going to come back for a couple of games. I think that's what he's trying to do. But what he doesn't want to do is maybe put too many games out there because then he puts himself at risk to further injury. And I think he doesn't want to do that. So this is the gamble I believe he's trying to take advantage of. I may be wrong. I've been wrong many, 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 many times. So this won't be the first one. Clyde says, not that I'm complaining because I hate both teams, but that sure looked like a block in the back in the Pats return. He had no shot at making the tackle. It's a cheesy thing. It was kind of a side block. It doesn't matter. It's whiny little shit if any Jet fan complains about that because that person had no shot at making the tackle to the offensive player. He was gone. He was gone. Seahawks, Giants, Jets, and Pats have greatly overachieved. Karen says, Omar would have saw the hand gesture and been like, are you throwing up gang signs, oh? Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. You got to also be old enough to know the video. But I know that Poopar is old enough to know the video, so that's why. Dolphin 13 says, the biggest need for this team is that cornerback. Wait a minute. We don't have a good cornerback? That is good. Byron Jones, if somehow can get back on the field, that's the missing piece. It would be. It would be. Oh, wouldn't Jones be motivated to be on the field and win a ring with us? Yes, that's why I think he'll come back for a couple of games in the regular season into the playoffs. So that way he doesn't have to play a whole ton, but he has enough to put on film and show that he's, healthy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. USA and Wales at 2 p.m., by the way. USA is plus 140 in the money line. Wales is plus 230. Draw is plus 210. USA by half a goal. If you want to bet and they win over half a goal, if they score over half a goal, it's minus 1,200. For Wales, if you want to bet that they will score over half a goal, plus 700. Now in the win, if you want to bet for the USA to win at a goal and a half, the over goal and a half, by the way, is plus 235. So if they go over 1.5 goals, plus 235. For Wales, plus 1.5 goals, plus 400. Those are some of the, I'm not going to get into the props and all of that. What else do we have? We have the Heat back in action tonight after last night's debacle at the hands of the Cavs. It's just a bad team right now, man. And you can't play without Jimmy and Tyler. It doesn't happen. Blue Jackets lose to the Panthers lose to the Blue Jackets 5-3. They dropped to 9-8-2. Kachuk did have a goal. That's his 8th goal. He's tied for 39th in the league. I think they were expecting a little bit more from him. Wednesday, they will take on Boston at 7 p.m. So they'll be back in action in a couple days. Those are some of the things. By the way, tomorrow we're going to be at Hialeah Park. Okay? We're not there Thursday because Thursday we are off. Some guy reached out to me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, man, I'm checking. Where are you? You're not on." And it's like, he made it sound like Sunday's like a day where I just do a talk show. It's not that. We're only on Sundays because we're doing a pre and post game show for the Dolphins. He just kind of like, I just tweeted him back a whole bunch of, laughing faces because it's like, dude, what's wrong with you, bro? We're on because it's a football game. That's why we're on. If not, we're going to be off on Sunday. We got to rest. The voice was still sore yesterday, and today it's hung in there. And we're, coming down the stretch, which is a miracle of God, how it's held up. By the way, I'd be remiss. I think I mentioned it some, but again, our thoughts and prayers for all of the Americans we lost at Club Q over the weekend in Colorado. 5 dead, 25 injured. And Anderson Lee Aldrich is the name of the animal, the 22-year-old animal that went into that club. Obviously a hate crime and shoot up and unfortunately injure and kill a lot of people. What else? Clemson, we talked about it on Saturday in the post-game show. Miami just got thoroughly embarrassed and dominated. 98 yards of offense. I don't know what the hell Josh Gaddis is doing, but it ain't good. That's for sure. It's not impressive. All right. RedRecover.com, folks, is a proud sponsor of our program. We love all the great people at Red Recover. And I tell you all the time, if you're living with pain, maybe you have an old injury, you have an old operation, and you're wondering, how can I ever get relief? And you're taking all these drugs and you're messing up your system. How about something all natural? How about something that has no side effects? Something that's great for dogs, great for kids, great for adults. And there's no drugs, no side effects, nothing involved. It's red light therapy. So you can fix that shoulder injury or shoulder soreness or elbow from tennis elbow or whatever it is. Maybe an old operation, an old injury, knee, back, neck, ankles, you name it. The bottom of your feet, for those of you that stand up a lot. Maybe you do a lot of walking, a lot of standing. They've got wraps and pads for anything and everything. And if you're a workout warrior, guess what? Red light therapy is fantastic before and after workouts to optimize your workouts. Red light therapy can help you also grow the hair on top of your head. Red light therapy can help your dogs prevent hip injuries and hip soreness and the hip as it degenerates over time and it causes problems for some of our dogs. Well, guess what? Red light therapy can help alleviate all of that kind of discomfort. My man Sean has bone-on-bone issues with his knee. He uses the wrap, and it alleviates the pressure and the pain, and it gets the blood flow going. The benefits are endless. Go to redrecover.com. Folks, if you just had surgery and you have a scar, we can help that scar disappear with red light therapy. 15 minutes a day, that's it, while you're relaxing at home. No big deal. While you're at the office working, you can have one of the pads on. It doesn't matter. And it's used by battery, a rechargeable USB. So you're not tied to an electrical cable or anything like that. It gives you the flexibility of walking around your house or your office with whatever pad that you're using on. Go to redrecover.com, check out the video blogs, check out the blogs, use our code Big O, get 10% off. The pads are incredibly affordable, but then you get 10% off on top of it with our code Big O. redrecover.com. Let's see. Rosendo says, agree that Jones is motivated, but only Jones will know when he is ready to come back. Right now, we had a bye week and we're playing Houston. No need for urgency. That is true. The only need would be to get him back on the field to start practicing, because it's probably going to take him a couple of weeks of practice to then play. That would be nice, Rosendo's, to hear that he's coming back in this next week or two, so that way he gets a couple of weeks of practice and then you start playing him. You know, that kind of stuff. Arnaldo says, thank you, Chris Greer, for drafting Tua and not Adonis. Thank you. I ordered the lumbar. It's coming today, says Miguel. Oh, the wrap for the lumbar? There you go, man. There you go. Clyde says, my neck, my back. What's the name of that girl that sings that? Damn it. Anyway. Big O, happy Thanksgiving and many blessings to you, my brother. Also, give me your top 10 wide receiver Dolphins of all time. Wow, that's hard, bro. Let me get a paper here and okay, so let's go Warfield. Let me go by era. Warfield, then I'll go Clayton and Duper and Irving Fryer and OJ McDuffie. Nat Moore, Waddle, Tyreek, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chambers, that's 9. Oronde Gadsden. I mean, we got the back end of Tony Martin. Not enough. Craig Camarillo, you guys are funny. Howard Twilley, nice. Don't put him in this category here. Not top 10. Doesn't make my top 10. Who am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right now, I already got Juice on there. Wes Welker was not. That's New England, not us. We got a nice Wes Welker. McDuffie's already there, guys. Landry. Wow, Jarvis Landry was not bad. So Landry and Gadsden are fighting for my 10th spot. I'm going to go Gadsden because he scored touchdowns and clutch touchdowns. Yeah, Devon Best was a nice slot player. I hope he's in a better place now, dude. I don't know whatever happened to Devon Best, but I know he had some mental issues. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Oh, man, let me tell you something. You know, one of the things I love is talking about some of our sponsors that have, been very supportive of our show, but also now very supportive of our platform. And Nature Bee has always been a big supporter of our show. But now in this new digital world, as radio and TV are dying, platforms are on the rise now. And our platform, by the way, we're continuing to cross more and more thresholds as we're up to 16,300 subscribers. And we thank you all out there. We want to get to 20,000. Let's go. The race for 20 is on, man. Pass it on to friends and family members. Let's go. We're going well over 20 million downloads this year on the audio downloads. We're building up the video. So thank you all out there. And Nature Bee has been a proud sponsor. And folks, right now we got a great deal going on. You buy 2 months, $66. You're going to get the third month for free, and you're going to get free shipping. How about that? I've been telling you about Nature Bee for 20 years now. My wife takes it. My daughter's been taking it since she was a little girl, and now she's in her 20s. So it's amazing. I'm telling you. And my wife takes it every day. We got to fight all those big nasties out there. And my man, Mike Buck, has been on this road with me on Nature Bee for a long, long time. Let's bring him aboard because we got some giveaways. Mikey, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Orlando, long time no see. Aloha from paradise, my friend. How you doing?
I am doing great, man. You're in one part of paradise. We're in the other part here in South Florida. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, we usually brag about our weather, but we don't have to brag about our weather when we talk to Floridians. You guys know what weather is.
Yes. The
But you
only
know, I
beauty.
was just thinking of that when we were setting up this deal. I was thinking, when did Big O and I first hook up? I had a similar experience. As you know, I worked in Australian radio and television for years, many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I met a couple of guys who later on were people that were endorsing Nature Bee for Jeff Cook from New Zealand. And they said, well, you ought to go to Hawaii. So he came over and we talked, and he said, what are you taking, supplements and all of this? And I said, I take a fistful of stuff. He said, throw it all away. Take these things. So I hedged on my bet. I didn't throw it. I started taking the Nature Bee, like I told you, about 2 decades ago. And I had a blood test about a month later, and the doctor said, what's going on with you? I said, I don't know. He said, what's going on? He says, you're way over. You don't need to be taking all of this stuff that you're taking. So I right then and there, I went from 14 supplements a day to 2, Nature Bee and iron. And that's 20 years ago for me. You talk about kids, grandkids. I'm now getting listeners on my programs, and I get followed up from all over the country. They just can't believe, particularly in this COVID world that we're living in. Let's face it, you know, immune system is the whole battle, isn't it?
Damn right. That's why I rarely get a damn cold, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, it's one of those things. I keep bragging to people all the time. Of course, you get energy, you know, a fuller hair, stronger nails. It's great for the indigestion. It's great for creaky bones and all of that. The benefits of plant pollen are just crazy. It's potentiated. So Nature Bee already breaks down the cells. So the second you take it, your body absorbs it, all of that. But I tell people all the time, what I love is boosting my immune system, because Mike, you and I work with our voices every day. How much does it suck to do it with a cold?
That's the deal. I mean, listen, we've all been through this. As you know, I do some work. I played the part of a fire chief on Hawaii 5-0, and I'm telling you, all of the shoots in the last couple of years in Magnum, they've all been, you know, big plexiglass. I mean, everybody's worried about this thing. And now they got this thing called long COVID. You got to deal with your immune system. And look, 27 vitamins and minerals, 28 aminos, everything, every single thing you need, all natural and free shipping. I mean, talk about Thanksgiving week, Big O.
Third month for free. Third month for free and free shipping. So you buy the first 2 months.
By the way, there is an unconditional money-back guarantee. When you take Nature Bee, like we have been doing for a couple of decades, have there been a few people hey, yeah, there have been. It didn't work for me. Send me my money back. And then embarrassingly, about 2 months later, they say, hey, can you send me some of that bee pollen again, please? I miss it. And that's what you look, it's no big boost of energy. You can take it before you go to sleep. It's good for kids. It's good for everybody on your list. And I'm telling you, Big O is bent Jeff Cook's arm at Nature Bee in New Zealand is that give my podcasters and give my viewers, give them what they need. Buy 2, get 1 free with free shipping. You can't beat the deal. You cannot beat the deal.
And by the way, we're also giving something away in a couple days here. You go to our Instagram page and follow Nature Bee NZ, and we're giving away 2 prize packs worth over $100 with all kinds of different Nature Bee items, because I use the lip balm. Now, when I go out west for the draft and all kinds of stuff, it's so dry out there. I use the lip balm all the time. I brag all the time about the Nature Bee soaps. They are out of this world. My wife loves the wrinkle cream. So there are some other products there that you're really going to love that Nature Bee has. And so we've got a prize pack.
Let me point out one thing too, Big O. You know, I've been the national spokesman for Nature Bee now for going on 20 years, and I'm seeing the baton being passed. Jeff Cook, the founder and the you know, the head bottle washer and everything in New Zealand. His daughter Corinne is now running the. If you go to the website Nature Bee, that's naturebee.com, there is a host of good stuff going on there, and I'm telling you, they morphed into the 21st century like nobody's business. Nature Bee is for real. They give you the money back guarantee, and right now you just better order, because there is huge demand, not just here in the U.S., but China, all over the world is taking Nature Bee from New Zealand.
I'm with you there. So check it out. Go to naturebee.com/Big O. Order 2 months. Get the 3rd month for free. Get free shipping. use our code Big O for that. And again, follow Nature B on Instagram at NatureBNZ. Tag a friend. You and your friend will be entered into the drawing. Use our hashtag Big O Radio Show. All right. You're entered in the next couple of days are going to pick 2 winners. And you might be one of the winners that wins the prize pack worth over $100.
Hey, listen, you're a winner just by picking up that phone. It's 1-866-834-8355. Better yet, click it, and go see the marvelous website at NatureBee. That's naturebee.com. And like Big O says, keep your eye on the ball because it got a big gift coming at you real soon.
That's right. Mikey, I appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up down the line, my friend. And thank you for turning me on to Nature Bee 20 years ago, my friend. I've had so few colds thanks to you. And
one more thing. Look at everybody in our business is asked to take stuff all the time. And you're only as good to your listener as your last endorsement. Every single station in the country and in the world, our hosts, like you and like me, take Nature Bee otherwise, and they love it. So if we choose to endorse something, it's with a lot of heart and a lot of soul. So we endorse this product to the point where I'm giving it to family, and you ought to give it to your family too. And that's the big line.
That's it, baby. Mikey, much love, my brother. Hope I got to get out to Hawaii to see you, my man.
Come on, we got you. We got a door open for you any old time, brother.
I will. I got to get out there. I got to bother you, and I got to go bother Jeff one day in New Zealand because I got to go see that factory one day. That should be an experience to go visit the Nature Bee factory.
Love you, Big O. Have a great Thanksgiving, you and your family.
Much love, Mikey. Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Aloha.
Thank you. There you go. The great Mike Buck, baby. Remember, order 2 months, get the 3rd month for free and free shipping. Use our code Big O. Go to naturebee.com/Big O. And then also go to Instagram and sign up for the giveaway, man. It's awesome. It's an awesome giveaway. We thank him. With what a fine coaching job Belichick has been doing with the New England Patriots. His defense is as good as anybody, although they just don't have enough firepower and offense. Remind you of anything? That was our team for 20 years, bro. Good defenses, good enough to get into playoffs, but hell, we had a defense at one point that was good enough to win a Super Bowl, but the offense was never there, man. You can't win if you don't have any offense. And in today's world, oh my God, today's NFL, it's even more imperative to have an offense. Kidding me? The way the rules are set up, it's ridiculous. Really is. Don't forget, folks, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That's Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. You can also donate a little Bitcoin too. So if you want to donate a little Bitcoin, I won't get mad. Okay. I never get mad if you want to donate a little Bitcoin. So that's all I'm saying. Nothing wrong with donating a little Bitcoin here to the cause. So Cash Big O Show. If you want to donate that Bitcoin, always appreciate that in a big time way. Mike Buck, the legend, always wondered what happened to him. Mike, if you watch Hawaii 5-0 or if you watch Magnum PI, the new ones, you'll run into Mike. You'll hear his voice all the time. It's a beautiful thing. Nothing changes with Mikey, man. Nothing changes with Mikey. Gotta love that. He's a good dude. Known Mike for 20 years now that I've been involved with Nature Bee and take it proudly every single day, man. I look forward to I take it at night, by the way. That's my trick. Just in case, because I heard Mikey say it too. You know what? Mike and I have never had that conversation of when you take it. I like taking it at night before I go to sleep because it gets to absorb into my body overnight. And so when I wake up in the morning, boom, I'm ready to go. And since it's potentiated, it kind of releases throughout the day. So it'll give you energy throughout the day. But for me, again, what I love the most, and I can't say enough, boosting that immune system. To me, that is everything there. Why? Because I work with my voice every day. It's a pain in the ass to to have to work with your voice, and it is sore. Like it's been for me the last, couple weeks here. And that's why I'm looking forward to resting right now. And or when I have a cold, oh my God, doing a 3-4 hour show. And you know how it is here. We don't really take long breaks or anything like that. We've played maybe 4 or 5 minutes of commercials in over 3 hours. No, we don't do that. We don't play the commercial game here. We don't make you listen to a half hour of commercials in an hour. That's why radio is dying, because they don't give you content. They just repeat. They repeat, content and ton of commercials, and it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Anyway, Big O, what is the average salary for a Pro Bowl kicker and punter in the NFL? Rosendo, I'm not exactly sure, but it's probably about $2 million for a kicker. Punters, I don't know if they're around the million mark. I would say like elite ones. Yeah, something like that, I think. It's expensive. It's gotten to a point where you're paying, for a lot. Nature B, do hangover? No, they're not hangover pills. No, that I'm not going to tell you that they're hangover pills. I can tell you what they'll help you with, but I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, yeah, no, dude, no. I've seen those. I don't know if they're not hangover pills, but in Vegas, for the people that get wasted, they have those. It's like you go to like a clinic there, whatever, and they give you like is it like B12 or something? They give you some kind of a concoction that gives you all kinds of, to replace a lot of the shit that you probably lost the night before from partying and drinking so much and all that. I forgot what it's called, but I've seen it in Vegas, and I always and listen, I get it if you're. No, it's not oxygen. It's not just oxygen. It's something else that they do to you. I forgot what the hell it is, because again, the debauchery side is not really why I go to Vegas. I know it's weird, but it's not really why I go to Vegas. Oh, who are your top 5 QBs this season? Tua, obviously, Mahomes. Well, let me see. I guess I got to give the Philadelphia kid a shot at that, right? I think he's got to be in that deal. Let me see here. Let me look at the standings. I'm not even going to look at the stats, but let me look at the standings to make sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go Hurts with Mahomes and Tua. Well, Gino has actually played really, really efficient. He's not a top 5 QB. He's not a top 15 QB in this league. Let me see. His efficiency has been like off the charts, I think, right? Which is something I never expected from Gino, that's for sure. I'd be lying to you. Yeah, 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, dude. Like, you got to give Gino a lot of love, man. God bless him, because I never saw this coming from him. 72.8% completion percentage. Yeah, I'm going to go Geno Smith. Yes. You can't look at he's not my top 15 quarterback, but he's playing like a top 5 quarterback right now. So Mahomes, Tua, Hurts, Geno. Did I say somebody else? Let me see Lamar's numbers. Let me see his passing numbers. His running numbers is not something that I look at that impresses. 16-7 touchdown interception ratio is weak. 63% completion percentage, weak. So he's got, well, at least he's Iron Maiden in rushing yards. He does have 666, the number of the beast. You know what? Wow, who's my fifth guy? Because Josh Allen isn't playing that well. Burrow. Let me see what Burrow's stats are. You might be right. Maybe Burrow. Let me see. That poor guy takes a beating. God, he's so good. Yeah, 22-8, 69% completion. All right, I'll go with Burrow. I'll give him the fifth spot. It's kind of tough. But yeah, I'll go with Burrow as my fifth guy. Okay. There you go. There we go. Fields, yeah, Fields is fun, but he's not convinced. I need a passer, bro. You got to be a passer. And Jalen Hurts, makes it because of the efficiency. But I look at his stats. Let me look at Jalen Hurts' stats. I mean, Justin Fields' stats. And it's 59% completion, which is not good for an elite quarterback, and that's why he's not. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. No, dude. You got nowhere. You got to be a passer. I'm sorry. I get it. He's rushed for 834 yards. And Lamar is 666, and he's at 834. So he's rushing his ass off. But 13 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, that's very mediocre. Okay? Mediocre. That's not good. It's, again, he's a video game and all that stuff, and you get wowed by the physical talent, but and I get it, my man Andy Behrens is a Bears fan, and so the fan in him is coming out, and he wants to fight me a little bit on the passer side, but I watch the kid because I'm a Justin Fields guy. I'm a fan of his. Like, I'm a fan of Kyler Murray. But, it gets to a point where you got to, like with Kyler Murray, we got to now shit or get off the pot with Kyler Murray. Okay, those of us that like Kyler Murray, okay, at one point or another, we have to say, yo, is this guy for real or what? And I think I'm wrong about Kyler Murray. I got to say, I always worried about his body taking hits, but I realize now after watching him that he's not going to take a lot of hits while he has those wheels. Okay, great. All right, so you're going to survive, kid. Fantastic. I love it. Now show me you can play. Show me you can make plays. Show me you can do it consistently week in and week out. He can't. He hasn't been able to do it. So it gets to the point where you got to show me. And that's with Justin Fields. I'm doing the same thing I'm doing with Lamar Jackson. Show me that you can pass the damn ball and you're good at it. Show me you can win from the pocket. I already know what's going to happen if you're a running quarterback. They're going to break you in half eventually, or you're never going to have a real impact in the playoffs because eventually you'll be playing the better defenses and they'll go, let's shut the run down, boys. Let's clog every gap and make sure he doesn't get out. Force him to beat you with the arm. Why? Because Lamar Jackson can't beat you with the arm. Why? Because Justin Fields can't beat you with the arm. Why? Because Jalen Hurts can't beat you with the arm. And that's what you have to prove. You're going to have to prove that you're a passer in this league. And that's what you need to be, young Russell Wilson. You want to bring the legs to it? Fine. But the legs need to be the complementary part, not the focal point of your offense. If the focal point of your offensive game as a quarterback is your legs, you have failed. You're fun to watch. You'll pull up stats. You're great for fantasy. That's fine. Now let's step into reality. And they'll use the outlier of Cam Newton getting to the game. He didn't win it, but he got there. So they'll say, see, you can do it. Whatever, man. You want to, think you can do it, fine. Maybe one day somebody has such a great defense and running game that maybe they do get there and they dominate, but it's going to be so hard to do that and pull that off. Okay. Broncos are waiving Melvin Gordon. Is that true? No. They can. Please don't say for Miami. That guy's a sack of injuries, and he's been an underachiever most of his career. Not interested, just in case if you start with that. Big O and Sean, did you know that Minnesota is the only team with a record of 8-2 and has allowed the most yards than they gain? Crazy stat, to be honest. It shows you that they're not going to be a contender, too. What is Herbert's numbers? Let me see Herbert. Hold on. Let me check Herbert. Herbert has 16 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Not good. That's not, 66.6. He's also the number of the beast in completion. That's good. If you're in the 65 to 70 range, if you're over 70, you're just a sick human being, and you just, you need to be put away somewhere in a museum somewhere. I mean, what Tua and Geno are doing right now are just, it's wow. But 66 is good for Justin Herbert. That's a good completion percentage. But the touchdown to interception ratio sucks. Okay? He's 16-7 in touchdown to interception ratio. Do you know what Tua is on touchdown to interception ratio? Okay. 16-7 compared to 18-3. He has more touchdowns, less interceptions, in less games played than Justin Herbert. Again, Justin Herbert loses more games than Tua misses games. One more time. Justin Herbert loses more games than Tua misses games. So before anybody tells you, well, Justin Herbert doesn't get injured, Tua does. You tell him, that's all right. He still loses more than Tua wins, actually. So it doesn't really matter. The games that he misses, Herbert loses more of those games, and Tua wins more anyways in less games. So what do you got to say to that? Tua's completion percentage is 71%. Great athlete. Great athlete. And that's where it ends. When he becomes a great quarterback, then we'll talk. But for now, the 3 interceptions for Tua is my favorite stat line. 7-0 is great, but 3 interceptions tells me he's seeing the field like nobody else. Exactly. And taking care of the football. I don't think Herbert is Tannehill 2.0. I disagree with you there, Freddie. Tannehill is a guy that still has to learn how to play the quarterback position, doesn't have, pocket presence and stuff like that. Herbert is a quarterback. He's a true quarterback. What Herbert is, and I've said, I put this on a tweet yesterday. He's Jeff George. He's Tony Romo. He's Carson Wentz. He's Phillip Rivers. He's Jake Plummer. He's Jared Goff. Very talented, but the heart, it ain't there. And yes, there it is. The Broncos have waived Melvin Gordon. Okay. All right, we are out of here. We thank Ira Winderman, Alan Poupart, Andy Behrens, Mike Buck. We thank Sean Stanley, of course, who masters it all, and Chad Shobe. We thank all of you that tuned in. Thank you for hitting the like button. Please smash the hell out of the like button before you leave. Get us over 500. Get us to 1,000. Help us get to 20,000 subscribers, man. We're at 16,300. We're getting close now. Let's go. Let's make a strong push. Share the show with people. Share the link with them. Have them subscribe. Tell your friends, family members, other Dolphin fans, Heat fans, Marlin fans, Panther fans, Inter Miami fans, Canes fans. Get them to subscribe and support our platform. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., bright and early, and we'll be live at Hialeah Park. Love you all out there. Appreciate you.
This is the Big O Show.